You're listening to The Pete Shepard Show.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to another edition of The Pete Shepard Show here at the Coastal Sports Network. How's everybody doing today? It is Tuesday, August 13th. It is back to school for some of you down in Collier County, Florida today. Sorry, Naples. Your parents aren't sorry. And down that way, they're all headed back. Lee County's already back here in Southwest Florida, back for their second day of school. Well, how's everybody doing today? And welcome to the Pete Shepard Show. I am him, here till 10 a.m., usually Monday through Friday, here in the Coastal Sports Network. Check us out on the video platform. It's incredible. On Twitter X, you can follow me at PShep326. On Facebook, SR1029 The Game. And also, you can download the app at SR1029thegame.com. Powered by Ion Tampa Bay, Ion TV, CSN Florida, Rumble, LinkedIn, Spotify, Twitch, and YouTube. And call or text the show 727-858-6650. And also check out the podcast at rss.com. The podcast via RSS. All the links are on my Twitter and my Facebook pages. And I need to update on some other stuff as well on LinkedIn. Just that last site, but incredible. Well, lots to get to this morning. Lots to talk about. It was a hot topic yesterday for myself on social media. Red Sox suspending Jarren Duran 2 games. I'll give you my thoughts. And the cesspool of fucking Twitter and some of the people on X is so bad. There's some thoughtful conversation on there. But other stuff, people just misinterpret everything. Twitter, it really has become people just and a lot of gutless people who have dummy accounts and all that stuff. But it's funny that people have dummy accounts that said some nasty stuff to me yesterday. A couple I had to block because it was like so over the top and just filthy stuff. But the ones that have these dummy accounts, it's amazing. I'm amazed at how easily they're ratted out. I cannot tell you a couple of private messages that I got from some people. It's just it's childish stuff. And the Durant comments obviously is a hot topic. I didn't want to really get into it yesterday, but the response now from the Red Sox suspending him for 2 games, the fact that Major League Baseball didn't, but the Red Sox did. And then you got people like Mayor Wu who want to have a meeting with the Red Sox. It is so freaking blown out of proportion. It's embarrassing how something like this has gotten so blown out of proportion. And I'll get into my thoughts about it in just a few minutes. So we're going to talk about that. I got a lot of video from that. We're going to hear from Jarren Duran yesterday in the locker room pre-game. He suspended yesterday's game. He'll be suspended for today's game as well. Also, you're going to hear from Sam Kennedy, Red Sox president, Craig Breslow, the GM, as well. After we get through all that, the college football poll is out yesterday, which I know a lot of you locally, regionally, nationally are very interested in. I'll give you my thoughts on that. We will have an MLB rundown as well. How about the Yankees getting spanked last night by the pathetic White Sox? I mean, that's awful. They were minus 350, I think, last night. Also, some NFL news, lots of NFL news from camp. The Jets are at it again about Hassan Reddick, who demands a trade. And Angel knows about that because he demanded a trade for the Philadelphia Eagles. So the Jets, in their infinite wisdom, take him knowing full well that he's going to want a contract. And obviously, they're not going to give him one. Not yet, anyway. So that's going to be really interesting to see what happens. But it's another way to make fun of the Jets. But I can't make too much fun of them, because I got my own issues with my team and the Patriots and Matthew Judon, and I hope they get that thing resolved. It doesn't really look like it's going to happen. He says he's willing to pay a play for a $6.5 million final year of his base salary this year. It doesn't reflect his play. No, I mean, I get that. I understand where he's coming from. He's worth a hell of a lot more than that. But if something happens and the Patriots lose him, then that will really, really hurt. So we got all that. We had an earthquake in California yesterday, in Los Angeles, and I just happened to be flipping from Finey Show to NBA Live, which was on ESPN, and Malika Andrews. We'll get to that video as well. I don't know if you saw that, Angel, yesterday, but not only was it her, but other shows were affected. It was a little scary, and they all handled it really well, and thankfully nobody got hurt. So we'll get to that. What else have I got? Well, that's about it for now. That should be enough. I have tons of video today. We have so much video. It's going to be outstanding, which is why I love doing this show on the Coastal Sports Network. And it's just we're gonna well, first of all, we'll say good morning to exec producer extraordinaire, host Angel Martinez. What's up, my man? How are you today? How are things in Tampa?
Good morning, Pete. We've been having some cloudy mornings. Usually there's a ray of sunshine that comes into the studio window, and in the past couple of mornings, it's been like blah.
A ray of sunshine.
Yeah. But other than that, Gaspom Guy, by the way, says, good morning, fellas. Hope you have a great day. Looking forward to listening to the show today. Appreciate you, Gaspom Guy. I listen, that's the second one. As far as the earthquake, that is the second one in less than 2 weeks, both at 4.2 and 4.1, which means, and it's been some years since the LA area and yet alone California has gotten a big one. There's a big one, unfortunately, that probably is coming towards the California coast.
Well, I hope not. I really do. I hope not, because it's kind of scary. All right. I want to get right into it because we got a lot of video today. Also coming up on the show later on, Bill Burt from the Eagle Tribune will join me at 8:30 this morning. We'll get his thoughts. I think he was at the game last night. I'm sure, and if he wasn't at the game, he was at might have been at Patriots camp and at the game. So we'll get his thoughts because the Judon story there's a big story going on nationally. ESPN, that was like their third story this morning. They were leading with on Sports. Not that means anything to me, but it is a big story. Also, Hassan Reddick, obviously, and the Dak Prescott situation and CeeDee Lamb situation continues to fester. Very, very interesting. But first and foremost, let's get to the story about Jarren Duran for the Red Sox, who the team suspended yesterday. Suspended him for 2 games yesterday and today because he uttered an anti-gay slur to fan during the team's Sunday loss to the Astros. Now, we'll play this in a second, Angel. I just want to say this. Okay, first and foremost, and this is what I tried to tell some people on social media yesterday on Twitter, but they just want to. If you disagree with them, then you're an asshole or this, that, and the other thing. So my initial tweet was he shouldn't have said what he said. And I said, stuff like that happens all the time in sports. Walk through any locker room in any sport and you will hear it far worse. Yes, it happened on the field. My whole thing is he shouldn't have said it. But and then my initial point was, well, what can you say? It was a throwaway line. He shouldn't have said it. It was not meant to be about sexual orientation, is that word. We have all said it a bunch of times when we were kids growing up. Never in my life have I ever used that word for sexual orientation for somebody. It was always like being a jerk. Stop being a bit. You're being a dick. That kind of thing. And I'm just wondering where the Red Sox, or where you want to draw the line. If he had turned around to that guy who was heckling him, and he should know better, you're going to get heckled in parks, unless it gets really, really, really overly personal. Just shut up and play. And I love Jarren Duran, and he should know better. But what if he turned around and said, shut up, asshole? Is that okay? What if it was a see you next Tuesday remark? What if it was a shut up, bitch? What happens? What happens then? I'm just you shouldn't say any of that to a fan, because just walk away or go to security and say, look, this guy's seems to be getting way out of line. Or usually somebody in that area in the stands will say something to you. But I basically threw it out there of what is acceptable to throw back at a fan. It happens all the time. The Stanley Cup playoffs this year, I forget where the hell was it? But the game I'm talking. There were a couple of games where there was a fan F-ing somebody. It might have even been Connor McDavid for Edmonton. F-ing him all along from Vancouver and blah, blah, blah. And then after he scored, I forget the player, went right up to that area and said, F you. It happened. This stuff is not uncommon. And the overreaction is just ridiculous for a situation like this. It's absolutely over the top, Ridiculous. You want to argue that he should be suspended? Fine. Okay. He shouldn't have said what he said, and he certainly shouldn't have said it to a fan. I grant you that. But my God, I'm just trying to figure out exactly what is tolerable now, not just for the Red Sox, but sport. What are you allowed to say back? Like I said, you should never say anything back to the fans unless it's really, really, really over the top. We've seen it in the NBA a few times where players will call out fans in the stands. How many times have we seen in the NBA that just this past year where fans go into the stand, where players go into the stands and react to what a fan said, even if it's just simple heckling? We've seen it a whole bunch of times. But in this particular case, I wanted what is acceptable and what isn't. What kind of language? If he had said "F off" to that guy, would we be having this conversation today? Probably not. It depends. Everybody is always going to be offended about something. Yes, it's an anti-gay slur. Technically, I get that. I'm just telling you, I don't think he meant it in that context. I said also on Twitter, for years at WEEI when I was there, my nickname was Pete Stugatz Shepherd, which is, it was given to me by Frank from Gloucester, who's no longer with us. And anybody who used to listen to that show knows Frank. He was a classic wine and line caller, real, funny dude from Providence. It was great. I mean, I took it with a grain of salt. I'm 100% Italian. I don't know how many times I have to say it. It's just a different last name because on the radio and doing this for 38 years, it was just easier at the time for my teachers to remember. I didn't take offense to it. My father didn't like it. My dad is no longer with us. He didn't particularly like it because it basically means dick, or it means, the other word for dick that begins with a C. It could also be a term of affection, and depending on how you use it. Now, I know The Sopranos kind of made it, a little more, but I mean, I've heard that term my whole life. And usually when somebody says, calls you that, especially in Italy or Italian Americans, Stugatz, or you miss a putt, Stugatz, fuck, I missed a four. That's the context how it's usually used. But the Pete Stugatz Shepherd thing stuck. And I'm not talking about the Stugatz, who I had that name before him, before he got the Lebertard, and he's Jewish, so whatever, that works on Lebertard show. He's known by that as well. But I was the original of it. I never took offense to it. But the literal translation of that means dick. I mean, that's what it means. So some of these self-righteous people, some of the cesspool stuff that is on Twitter, some of the stuff that was, that people threw back, there was some thoughtful discourse from some, and some intelligent conversation. The other ones that starts right away, well, you're probably okay. One guy goes, well, you're probably okay if they say the N-word then. If you don't, I'm like, how do you correlate that? What does one have to do with the other? Of course I don't feel that way. Nobody in their right mind would feel that way. But then I said, look, I covered the Celtics. I sat on those in the floor. I saw Kevin Garnett say that word, N-word, and mofo every single time down the floor. Every single time. There was racial over all of that. And it was all for him in good fun. And he's African American, so he can say he can say that. He didn't mean it maliciously, but every time down the floor, Kevin Garnett could have had his own one-man comedy show back in the day. I say it all the time. I used to feel bad for some of the parents, get lucky enough with their kids in the front row throughout, and then they have to kind of cover their ears when Kevin's coming down the floor. It's not just Kevin. There's so much trash talking that goes on around the NBA, the NHL, MLB. Now, whether you say something to fans, which is what this story is about, that's a different thing. He shouldn't have said it. But the overreaction, if I say, well, what is acceptable? Then somebody says to me, some knucklehead says, oh, you're probably okay with the N-word. What does one have to do with the other? No, of course I'm not okay with it. Nobody would be okay with it. I'm saying in this situation, tell me what would have been acceptable. Would we be sitting here having this conversation if Durant turned to that fan and said, fuck off? Would we be having this conversation? I don't think we would. Angel, I remember, you may not remember this, when Bill Parcells first got hired, and it was the second year, and they drafted Terry Glenn, the late, great Terry Glenn, out of Ohio State. Patriots needed a wide receiver. It's probably the only time Robert Kraft really interfered because Bill Parcells didn't want him, and but Robert Kraft did because the Patriots desperately needed a wide receiver. Anyway, the owner won out, so they draft Terry Glenn, and there was a time during camp where he was a little nicked up and banged up, and people were questioning his toughness. And Bill Parcells said, he was asked a question how Terry Glenn was doing, and he said, and I quote, "She's doing okay. Hopefully back on the field." The she, quote, "she's doing okay." I cannot tell you how much discussion that got over several weeks. Bill Parcells is this. He's a sexist. It's a front against women. I mean, just over the top, absolute bullshit. It's like in Sandlot, the great line, "You play ball like a girl." People get offended by that. I mean, it's Jesus. I mean, it's stuff like that just everybody settle the bleep down. But I can't tell you, Bill Parcells saying that back in the day got so much reaction. And of course, every tree hugging hippie comes out of the woodworks that you never hear from and thinks sitting on their highly moral ground, whatever it is, and wants to preach, ethics to everybody else. And then a lot of times, these people are such hypocrites. You do background checks on someone, you see, "Oh, really? Well, you're calling me out for that? What about you when you said this?" I mean, we could do this all day. One guy says the difference is that it's not caught on a hot mic. Regardless of that, if you don't see the difference, you're either naive or that misinformed. Wake up, Pete. Be better. So, see, that cracks me up. It goes beyond, and this is why you preamble and say, "No, we shouldn't have said it." And I'm trying. My whole thing is, yes, he shouldn't have said it. I'm trying to find out, and no one will answer this question: what is acceptable and what isn't? As I've said, if you're a player, and we'll stick with Major League Baseball. If you shouldn't say anything to you're not going to, unless it's something nice or something, which you see a lot of these guys do anyway. They have playful banter back and forth. But if you're going to throw out something like that or cuss at a fan, you shouldn't do it. Let's just get that straight, okay? You shouldn't do it. You got to walk away. I know emotions are high. By the way, this is the same guy that got like the hustle and award from the Red Sox 3 days ago on Sunday, which cracks me, which he should. I mean, if you are just from a baseball standpoint, if you are, and there isn't anybody out there who doesn't agree with it. If you're a parent, or you're a young person trying to learn how to play baseball, and you want to see how the game should be played, you watch Jarren Duran play. That guy hustles his ass off every single play on offense and defense. All-star MVP. Not that has anything to do with this. He still shouldn't have said, make it clear, still shouldn't have said what he said. Okay? But I think this story is so far blown out of proportion. It makes me sick to my stomach. And I can't imagine what's going on up in Boston today and some of the talk shows. And they live for this shit. They absolutely live for this shit. This will be a subject up there for the next 3 weeks because, the Patriots are projected to be very good. There may be some stuff on Friday after the Patriots-Eagles game. But this is the kind of stuff that festers up in the Northeast forever and ever and ever. Somebody said, this is the usual thing where all those holier-than-thou people pretend they're better than everyone else. That's from Archibald. Yep. What else? Someone says, come on, Pete. Bill says, come on, Pete, you can't figure out the difference. It doesn't matter if it's been said before. You can't say that, especially to a fan. There's no arguing around that. You see how somebody says that? That's not my argument, Bill. I've said it a bunch of course you shouldn't have said it. I'm asking you people, what do you think is tolerable? Would we having this conversation today if you turned to that fan and said, hey, buddy, fuck off? Would we be having this conversation? And I don't think we would. I really don't. But is that worse than the throw, what he said, which opinion is it was not intended to be anything sexual, no sexual orientation involved. Was calling a guy a jerk. He just happened to use that word. He shouldn't have said anything, but he used that word, and everybody has now deemed Jaron Duran as some kind of homophobe. It's so ridiculous. Not all of you, but some of you. Again, he shouldn't have said it. So I'm wondering, would you people have the same passion if he said F off or used some other colorful metaphor? Make whatever you want up. A-hole, F off, bitch. I don't care what it is. Jet fan, which is the ultimate offensive. Whatever. Make it whatever colloquialism, make it up. I hear shit on the golf course. I say stuff on the golf course to myself. If I miss and quietly, if I miss like a 5-foot putt, I say stuff that comes out of my mouth that I never even knew existed. And it's not directed at anybody but me. And I make sure that no one, I don't scream it out. I don't make a fool of myself or do any of that stuff. Except for hitting a lot of drives out of bounds. But other than that, you know what I'm saying? I mean, this stuff, words are said like that all the time. And they're not, most of the time, 99% of the time, are not in the context that people want to believe that it is. If you say the amount of times I have ever heard that word, the F word that Duran said, okay, 99.9% of the time had nothing to do with sexual orientation. Nothing. Now, I told you before, Angel, I went to Bishop Hendricken High School in Warwick, Rhode Island, okay, by my own choice. Catholic high school, all boys school. I cannot tell you how many times that word came out of not only opposing teams, but parents' mouth. Cannot tell you how many times that happened. And you would hear it occasionally, and you block it out and you win, because there were a lot of people who were jealous of what, and not just on the field. It was also great academic school as well. And we were taught from the beginning, don't retaliate, do the right thing, do the Catholic thing, do the Christian thing, whatever. Turn the other cheek and walk away, which most of us did. 99% of the time. But I've heard that word, but I've also had friends, and everybody, we've used that word. The word in context has always been you jerk or you a-hole. Just like Stugatz is the same thing, which has a different connotation depending on what context it's used. The word shouldn't have been used in that situation by Duran. It shouldn't have been. But does anybody really believe that he used that word? What he was trying to say was stop being a jerk. If he called him an asshole or fuck off, that would be okay. But because he used that word, that he's vilified now as some homophobic clown. I'm trying to figure out what's tolerable and what isn't, because 99% of the time that F word is used in connotation to being a jerk or an asshole. And that's what it is. Whether you want to believe it, you should believe. You know how it is. No question. You know the people when they mean it maliciously. And yes, I've heard people say that about other people. And I shake my head when I know it's malicious, and I know that I know they're homophobic or they're anti-gay or whatever it is. But this whole what has happened now in this situation, I just can't believe it. And it is true. And I almost, I wasn't going to comment yesterday. I said, let me see what reaction I can get just by saying, okay, yes, he shouldn't have said it, but in this day and age, what is tolerable? And I still say that if he just turned around, because you could barely hear it. Yes, Nesson picked it up, and Nesson did pick it up. If he had just turned to that guy, instead of saying what he said the other F word, said, fuck off, like that, would any of us be having this conversation today? But because he said the other F word, which I believe he meant as, hey, shut up, dickhead, or whatever the term you want to use, it gets absolutely, now he's homophobic. He's anti-gay. He's this, that, and the other thing. How sad it is that the mayor, who's a joke anyway in Boston, wants to have a meeting with the Red Sox. I mean, what are we doing? I mean, don't you? It's like Judge Snell's in Caddyshack. Hey, Mayor Wu, don't you have homes? Don't you have something else you need to worry about? Let the big boys handle it, okay? Just so absolutely ridiculous. I'd love to have her sit in the front row of any NBA game or an MLB game and listen, or NHL game or a football game. Holy shit, Angel, can you imagine some of the stuff that is said on a football field? You don't think that word is used on a football field a gazillion times a game? I can promise you it is. It is being used a lot. And a lot more happens in a football game. Do you think somebody's going to come out and cry about it? And we know there's some gay players in the NFL. And when it's used, and I know some have gotten in trouble for using that word because of that, directed at people that they knew were gay. I understand that. But overall, that word and other cuss words, my God, this is not, some kindergarten class we're doing here. It's the NFL. I've been on those sidelines. I've seen it, and I've been in the shit that I have heard in my lifetime in locker rooms and on the field and on the basketball court. I mean, come on. That's like, to me, it's like in one ear and out the other. Now, I don't have children. If I had a small child, and that's why I say I don't think young kids belong at these events. I don't think some 3-year-old belongs at a Patriots-Eagles football game, right? Or, sitting there, or an Eagles-Cowboy game. You want your 3 and 4-year-old to sit in the front or back of the bench of a Eagles Cowboys game? You'd have to have a flow chart of cuss words and try to come up with synonyms that they could understand. Ugh. Someone says, appears your point is lost on some and being twisted. As someone who knows you quite well, you are better. Yes, I know. Thank you. All right. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to run down all the video for you, starting with Jarren Duran's apology yesterday before the Red Sox came back and beat the Texas Rangers. So that's where I'm at. Tell me, I want to know, would we be sitting here today if he said F off, F-bombed to this guy, or said some other colloquialism, colorful metaphor, whatever term you want to use. But because he used the other F word, and which I believe, that he meant it as, shut up, a-hole, that type of thing. But no, now he's vilified being a homophobe. It's just ridiculous. And then if you don't agree with somebody brought the real stupid ones out there, the ignorant ones are the ones that say, well, if you don't agree, you probably think the N-word is okay too. I mean, come on. Come on, people, grow up. Just stop it. Stop the holier than thou bullshit. It's unbelievable, especially the ones with like 50 followers on social media. It cracks me up. And then you go back and look at some of their posts, and they're like psychotic. A lot of them. I told one guy, let me know. Call me when you say hello to your therapist for me. You should see the shit on some of these people's sites, the ones that are commenting on you. And I go to their sites, I look at it, and I'm like, these people should be locked up. They're crazy. Oh, I'm sorry. You're mentally disturbed. Hey, go fuck myself. Oh, there you go. Good. Don't worry. I have a lot of people tell me that. And when you're in the media, you got to have thick skin, which I do, and all the other people that I've worked with do. Especially when it comes to topics like this, because it shouldn't be this controversial. He shouldn't have said it. He got suspended. End of discussion. But the holier than thou people are up on some mountain, and they just want to condemn. If you don't agree with me, then you're just like him. You probably say the N-word. You say this, that, and the other thing all the time. You're a bunch of idiots. A bunch of holier than thou assholes. And you can follow me, unfollow me on social media. I really don't care. One guy's like, is Pete still around? Well, I mean, that's the kind of person that like you're living under a rock. And I'm glad, I love that. Yeah, I've been around for 38 years. Because I'm not in Boston doesn't mean I'm not around. A lot of us aren't in Boston anymore. A lot of us are around. But so you get that, and my rebuttal to that is, okay, well, you let me know when you have your own show. I'll make sure I tune in. I'd be happy. I'll come on as a guest. I'll follow you. And the people, they hide behind these pseudo names and they have fake dummy accounts, and they can't have they can't have an honest debate with you with some thoughtful discourse without going so over the top and then changing the subject. Like I said, like if I don't agree with them over this particular subject, oh, well, you must be used to saying other slang curse words and please. You know what? Like I said, you know what pissed me off? I'm 100% Italian. You want to compare the N word? You call me a guinea or a wop, I'm fucking going to come after you. I mean, that's crossing the line. There are a lot of people. There's slang and racial epithets for everybody, every single race of people. You want to get me going? You call me that. You call me the G word or the W word, which some of you idiots who use that word don't even understand what it means. And it applies for somehow the connotation got linked to Italian Americans, but it applies to all immigrants who came over to this country, because that means WAP means without papers. And that's why a lot of people's names, not just Italians, Polish, doesn't matter. Some of their names got changed because of what happened when they came over to Ellis Island or wherever. But that aside, and by the way, no one's ever said that to me on social media or anything like that before. But I'm saying you want to put a connotation that everybody has had a racial slur directed at them at one point or another. I'm not African American, so I'm not even going to pretend. Angel Martinez is from Puerto Rico. I'm sure he's heard some stuff over the years. Me being Italian, I mean, my Italian and my Irish friends, I mean, just being Italian and my friends from Sicily bust chops all the time, because Sicilians are different. It's a different dialect. It's different. It's part of Italy, but it isn't. And I always say, whenever you want to get conquered, you go to Sicily. I've been saying that for years. And my friends come back at me about my family being from Naples, not Florida, Naples, Italy, Naples and Salerno. And we have playful banter back and forth with not only my Italian and Sicilian friends, but my Irish friends. I mean, there's a connection there. We go back and forth. And I've always said this too. There's always been, it's so much easier to make fun of some other races without there being any, any punishment or any. It's just like, yeah, you can say this about this race, say that about that race, but you say something about this race. Okay, here come the moral police again. And it's been that way for a while. But anyway, we'll get Angel's thoughts after this, after the break. And then we're going to play Duran, and we're going to play Sam Kennedy, Craig Breslow, and stuff for you. We've got a ton of video to play today, but I had to get all of this stuff off of my chest because people are misinterpreting, not just me. I asked a simple question. What's acceptable? Duran shouldn't have said what he said. Shouldn't have used that word. Shouldn't have responded in any way, shape, or form, except if somebody was getting too personal, you go to security, you say, please talk to this guy, have him removed. Not to mention, in those expensive seats anyway, if it gets out of hand, somebody there is going to say something, especially if there's little kids around. Somebody is, it's not tolerable. So somebody's going to say something. But don't you dare say, because I'm trying to figure out what actually is acceptable. So if Duran said the other F-bomb, said, fuck off, or hey, asshole, or, just shut up, asshole, like that. Because that's how he did it. It wasn't like he got up in the guy's face on the screen and started screaming at him. But I'm just trying to figure out what's acceptable. None of it should be acceptable. But I'm wondering where the moral police come into play here. You could say that F-bomb, but you can't say the other F-bomb. I'm trying to figure it all out. Anyway, video coming up next from this whole situation. Lots more college football news. Top 25 poll is out by the AP. NFL camp news as well. Our Patriots and the Eagles start joint practice sessions either today or tomorrow. Then they play on Thursday night. So Bill Burt will join me at 8:30. We'll talk about that and a whole lot more. All part of the Pete Shepard Show here on a Tuesday on the Coastal Sports Network.
Hi, folks. This is Gerard Moynihan of Moynihan Lumber, and I would like you to know that our company has been selling Anderson windows for over 60 years. See the complete line of Anderson windows at any of our 3 locations in North Reading, Beverly, or in Plastown, New Hampshire, or at MoynihanLumber.com.
Ion Tampa Bay is the latest news, weather, and traffic for Pinellas, Pasco, Ellsboro, Hernando, and surrounding communities. Stay connected on X, Facebook, and their website, IonTP.com. Ion Tampa Bay keeps you informed on breaking news as it happens. Southwest Florida's newest game in town. Sports Radio 102.9, the game powered by Ion Tampa Bay. We'll be right back.
What's up, Southwest Florida? Jim and the Beef Guy here. Fort Myers, we answered your call. We're pumped to announce the opening of our second location. It's on 41 just north of the Edison Mall. And guys, nothing's changed here. The beef, the sausage, the breaded steak, our Maxwell Polish. Now serving you in 2 locations, Fort Myers and Bonita Springs. And don't forget, if you're having a party, check out our catering menu. And guys, when you're at the counter, don't call it gardenia. It's pronounced Chardonnay.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hey, Dad, your prescription will be ready in just a minute. Hey, Dad, your laundry will be ready in just a minute. Dad, your lunch will be ready in just a minute.
Hey, honey. Why don't you take a minute?
When you help care for a loved one, you give them as much time as you can, making sure they're safe and comfortable. But it's just as important that you take some time for yourself. At AARP, we can help with information and useful tips on how you can maintain a healthy life balance, care for your own physical and mental well-being, and manage the challenges of caring for a loved one. Because the better care you take of yourself, the better care you can provide for your loved one.
Thanks, Dad.
Thank you. You're there for them. We're here for you. Find free care guides to support you and your loved one at aarp.org/caregiving. That's aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
All right, class, let's hear what everyone did this weekend. Jill?
Well, I raised my older sister to a big oak tree. It was at least 100 years old. My mom said I must have set a record or something. And then we went down by a stream and perched up on this huge rock and saw all of these little minnows swimming around way below us. And then I rescued my little brother from an evil slug king who was guarding him at the bush fortress. And my sister and I brought him back to our super twig fort for safety. And then we all laid out and told stories until it got dark. And the Big Dipper led us all the way home.
Awesome. Where were you, Jill?
Yeah. We went to the forest. It's not that far away. Anyone want to come this weekend?
Ask your parents to take you and your friends to the forest this week and find the fun, adventurous you. It's closer than you think. Check out discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
You're listening to The Pete Shepherd Show. Don't spaz out because your team lost. Let Pete do it for you. Now, back to The Pete Shepherd Show.
Back here on the Pete Shepherd Show. Here it is Tuesday, August 13th. How's everybody doing today? 727-858-6650. Call or text the show. Check us out on our awesome Coastal Sports Network video platform on Twitter X. Follow me at PShep326 on Facebook at SR1029thegame.com. Ion TV. CSN Florida, Rumble, Spotify, LinkedIn, Twitch, YouTube, and also to RSS.com is the podcast. It's up there every day in case you miss anything, labeled and all that stuff. Angel is fucking unbelievable at what he does, and what he has put together on this network is second to none. He deserves a massive, massive pay raise. There's no question about it. No doubt about it. But I can't tell you how proud and really honored I am that to work with somebody that does the stuff that Angel does. When I tell you this guy does stuff that I've seen entire radio stations not have the type of content, and they have 5 or 6 people working on their digital platform. This is one guy right now that's doing it all, and kicking ass and taking names. And this network has grown leaps and bounds already since we started in March, April, whatever it was, and it is fantastic. I have people reaching out to me now that want to be part of the show. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of good stuff that is headed down the road. Now, that being said, Angel, I'm pretty sure I'm not going to speak for you, but I mean, if there's anything you want to say about any of my thoughts or whatever, going into this before we play Jaron Duran, because I promised you we're going to hear from Jaron Duran. We're going to hear from Sam Kennedy, the president, and Greg Breslow, the general manager, coming up in just a bit here.
There's times, and I want to bring up, because I know we had a couple of text messages that came through. One was Jerry from Rhode Island. As he said, a lot of these people are really not offended, but it's a thing to do now. Find someone who effed up and then tried to cancel them. And then Gas Pump Guy had said, Pete, I don't think professional people say anything back to the fans. I mean, I get it. There's times where the fans get over the top and say stupid things. And if they attack the player personally, I think it's a fair game. But other than that, let me go back to the bottom one here. Say stupid things, attack the player personally. I think it's fair game. But other than that, I think they should just turn the other cheek, as they say.
I agree. No, that's what I've said. He should not have said what he said. But I'm trying to get people to think and be honest with yourself. If he said F off, like the F you F off, or called him an a-hole, hey, shut up, a-hole, just like that, would we be having this conversation today? I don't think we would. There's a lot of people that think the first F word isn't so offensive because in the connotation of you being a jerk or an a-hole. But if you said F off a-hole or F off, the big F off, then some people would be more offended by that. So what it comes down to, it's to each his own, I guess, and how offended you are by this, that, or the other thing. I get offended if somebody buys a jar of peanut butter and jelly mixed together. That's offensive to me when I see that. I mean, that's just laziness. It's ridiculous. Or buy jelly out of a squeezy bottle. There are a lot of things that I get offended about, that I keep my mouth shut about. You don't think there are times over my radio career that I've wanted to, or even a couple of times, some heated arguments on TV back in the day, that I've wanted to just like scream my head off and F-bomb away at, meaning the F-U away at other things. But yeah, I mean, you gotta censor yourself.
No, you do. And then,
I am just trying to figure out, saying for the millionth time, he shouldn't have said what he said. But would we be having this conversation here if he said "fuck off" or "fuck off, asshole"? Would we be having this conversation? I don't think we would.
no, because you're gonna get both sides of, unfortunately, of the fence here, where you'll have people saying, well, if that road were across, just like there's people, they've had experiences in their life and they say, well, if it would have happened to me, I would handle it differently. When things happen in the moment, it's a complete different reaction. We've heard people, I mean, from politicians to athletes to whomever, they've been on TV live and have said something, and then someone may have not picked up on it, but then someone picks up on it later on. Whether if he said it, which was picked up by the microphone, and it was stated, he apologized. I get it. I understand it. The whole thing is to make it much bigger, because there is a lot of hypocritical people out there where they will post something on social media, or they will post something, comment on someone else's social media. And you're right, Pete, because you go back and you scrub their account and you see things are a lot worse. At the link, even at Veterans Stadium, if you were to ever take a boom mic and in the crowd, there's things that are worse said. But I think also for it to be blown way out of proportion. And again, we mentioned yesterday, he didn't go up to the fan, grab the fan by the shirt, shook him back and forth, and call him his name, or pointed directly at that person, not knowing who the person. You can yell back. There's in the car. How many people do not swear things up and down the side of the vehicle when you get cut off? And I'm pretty sure there's colorful commentaries.
Cut off? I say it all the time. The biggest hypocrites are the one that come out of church every day or on Sundays or Saturdays, whatever, and in the parking lot. Oh my God! You want to talk about some? Oh my God! My holier than thou. Whether you're Christian or Catholic or Jewish or whatever, go to a church parking lot, especially a crowded one, and see if what happens when somebody cuts you off coming out of the parking lot. All the great stuff and all the holier than thou. We love Jesus. We love whatever God you believe in. Buddha, Allah, this, that. It all goes out the window once that one a-hole cuts you off before you get on Bonita Beach Road or wherever you are. Before you come on Daniels around here in Fort Myers. That's it. What happened? All that worshiping and all that great stuff that you just talked about, and then the first one step. What the hell are you doing, you jerk asshole? I'm telling you. All right.
I can tell you funny stories. One day I'll have to have just a raw hour, maybe towards the evening time, so in case people are listening in the morning. But I can tell you many times when in Philly, so we had the bus depot would have certain buses that would take people to certain churches because it was just so many. There were so many people that in this one particular parking lot, they couldn't put in as much as parishioners as they possibly could. But when you picked them up, because there were certain spots you would have to, just like the regular city bus service, there were certain spots you had to pick them up and then you drop them off. The stuff that would come out of the people that would come to the bus, I want to say, both male, female.
I believe it.
Yeah, but it was funny because it was the hypocrisy used to drive me nuts. And then you pull up to the church and all of a sudden it was like, oh, okay, have yourself a blessed day. That's not what you were just saying 10 minutes ago about so-and-so when you knew they were pulling up to the parking lot. So there's just a lot of hypocrisy what goes around, unfortunately. And to make it bigger than what it is getting to be insane with a lot of things. You're having people arrested overseas for posting stuff up on social media, and they're coming to your home and arresting you. So if people are starting to become more and more okay that if you got from it, and you don't even have to say something super derogatory. I'm talking about you could just say something like, wow, that person had a bad day. And if they're coming to knock on your door and arresting you for you just saying, wow, you must have had a bad day. Listen, folks, there's a lot more things going on in this society than things that are blown way out of proportion.
There's a couple of phrases, and I promise we're going to get to Duran's the comments first, and then Craig Breslow and Sam Kennedy right after that. There's two things on social media that absolutely, you want to talk about being offensive. One is when people go on anybody's site, and I've said this a million times, and say, I don't care. No, or nobody cares. Okay, then don't come on my site and say nobody cares, because obviously you cared enough to come on my site and say that. I have never gone on somebody's posts and said nobody cares. Not one time. I just won't, if I comment, I'll comment. Usually I don't. And the other thing that is such a crutch for some of you idiots is when you respond to anybody, not just me, and you make your little statement and then it's ... be better. Please. You don't know me. I don't know you. Be better. I'm sorry. That's a pretty wide scope. Be better. Okay. Again, you're the same asshole that leaves a church parking lot screaming your head off at the first person that cuts you off. I hate that. Be better, and nobody cares. Unbelievable. Gospel guy says, Pete, not everybody that goes to church is a hypocrite. I'm offended, LOL. No, and I think most people are good about it. I'm saying I've been in a lot of situations in church parking lots, and you see stuff and hear stuff like, oh my God, weren't we just all friends shaking hands and making peace with each other, hugging and kissing? I don't know. Rick says it gets into politics too. I hear people say they won't vote for Trump because he said the word, the P word. Yeah, well, I mean, that's the other thing. It's, somebody tried to turn, it doesn't matter what you say anymore. It somehow turns in either you're a Democrat or Republican. It's just ridiculous. People saying how they, to me or anybody, end their little statement and then ... be better. I mean, just stop it with that crap. It is such the useless crutch. It's so easy. Be better. Okay, that's what I'll do. I'll be better. I'm going to be better. Okay, Angel, let's hear from Jaron. Let's hear from Jaron Duran yesterday, suspended by the Red Sox for an anti-gay slur on Sunday. And his apology.
Give me a second. For some reason, let me fire up the radio again.
I know, because it's been on hold for an hour because I haven't gotten to it.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about as far as the radio. For some reason, it started out with the live show and then it dumped out to the replay from yesterday. So I'm going to refire things back up here. I was told by someone, so I want to make sure that everybody can hear the live show. I don't know if we were dumped just because we were talking about. We usually we're not.
But they're just on the app, not on the video platform, right?
Right.
Yeah. So I'm monitoring the video platform. And it's hundreds of people there already, which is great. All right. So once Angel gets that going, we'll indeed hear from Jaron Duran. The suspension began yesterday. As I said, the Red Sox also announced that Duran's salary from the suspension will be donated to PFLAG, which is formerly called Parents, Families, and Friends of Lesbians and Gays. Duran earns $760,000. He'll lose $8,172. So, again, in the sixth inning on Sunday, Duran turned around in the middle of the bat and Hecklin said, "Shut up, you effing F." And again, he shouldn't have said it. Shouldn't have responded. What I heard from the fan, and the only part I heard, which was picked up on this, and what the guy was saying, you stop swinging it. You grab a tennis racket. Grab a tennis racket because you're swinging at stuff you shouldn't be swinging at. And, I don't know if the guy was it doesn't matter. I didn't hear the guy cussing or anything like that, but maybe he was. Apparently, this guy was heckling him all day. But still, turn the other cheek, walk away on the hole. How we doing, Angel?
All right. It sounds like we're back live. Gasplum guy says that he can. He said you're good on the app. So I just wanted to double check and verify. I don't know. Maybe it dumped accidentally and then kicked back to the yesterday replay. But all right. Yeah.
All right. Here's Jaron Duran apologizing for using an anti-gay slur. This was yesterday before the game.
Let me bring this back over here. All right.
I see it. I can see.
Following a developing story in baseball, Red Sox outfielder Jaron Duran has been suspended 2 games for hurling an anti-gay slur at a fan during Sunday's loss to the Astros. This year's All-Star MVP was at bat in the sixth when he uttered the slur at a heckler. The exchange was caught on the game microphone. Now, after the game, Duran apologized, saying, quote, "I feel awful knowing how many people I offended and disappointed." And he spoke again about the incident today.
It was just a heckler heckling me, the entire game, and I just let the moment get the best of me and just said something that I shouldn't be saying.
What was your reaction to the suspension?
That's not the most important thing right now. It's just trying to be better and learn from my mistake of what I said is the most important thing right now.
Jared, did you know in the moment you had said the wrong word? Did it register?
Yeah, I actually apologized to the umpire and the catcher for my actions because they were right there. They heard me say it, but I'm assuming they cut the mic because of my inappropriate words, so it wasn't picked up, but I know that I was apologizing to them for the word I had said.
All right.
Is your business drowning in paper?
Let's get that off. And if we could scroll down on my Twitter account, Sam Kennedy and Craig Breslow, it's just a few down on NBC Sports Boston with Sam Kennedy, the president, Craig Breslow, also talking about the situation as well. Let me know when you get that. And you just, sir, I apologize to the catcher and the umpire. I can only imagine what is said that's not picked up by microphones. I know what's said all the time that just not picked up by boom mics. But when you get that, Angel, let me know. It's on NBC Sports Boston. Sam Kennedy addressing a disappointing, unacceptable event. My God. It's just like, it's, Rick said, that means, all right. When you have it, Angel, let me know. You see it on my Twitter account?
Yeah, no, give me a second because there is something bizarre going on with the radio. I don't understand.
Okay, but why don't we take a break? Let's see. We'll take a break because we're near the top of the hour. And when we come back, we'll hear from Sam Kennedy and Craig Breslow. That work, Angel? We'll do that.
Yeah, and then we'll
take a break right now and reset and come back with hour number 2 of the Pete Shepherd Show right here on the Coastal Sports Network.
Hi, folks. This is Gerard Moynihan of Moynihan Lumber, and I would like you to know that our company has been selling Anderson windows for over 60 years. See the complete line of Anderson windows at any of our 3 locations in North Reading, Beverly, or in Plastown, New Hampshire, or at MoynihanLumber.com.
Ion Tampa Bay is the latest news, weather, and traffic for Pinellas, Pasco, Ellsboro, Hernando, and surrounding communities. Stay connected on X, Facebook, and their website, IonTP.com. Ion Tampa Bay keeps you informed on breaking news as it happens. Southwest Florida's newest game in town. Sports Radio 102.9, the game powered by Ion Tampa Bay. We'll be right back.
What's up, Southwest Florida? Jim and the Beef Guy here. Fort Myers, we answered your call. We're pumped to announce the opening of our second location. It's on 41 just north of the Edison Mall. And guys, nothing's changed here. The beef, the sausage, the breaded steak, our Maxwell Polish. Now serving you in 2 locations, Fort Myers and Bonita Springs. And don't forget, if you're having a party, check out our catering menu.
Hey guys, when you're at the counter, don't call it gardenia. It's pronounced Chardonnay.
To some people, the sound of a baby babbling doesn't mean much. But that's not necessarily true. By 6 months, they're combining vowels and consonants. By 9 months, they're trying out different kinds of sounds. And by 12 months, their babbling is beginning to take on some meaning. Especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Early screening and intervention can make a lifetime of difference and unlock a world of possibilities. Take the first step at autismspeaks.org. A public service announcement brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
The following is made possible by Dad.
Why was the basketball court all wet? Because the players kept dribbling all over it.
The dad joke. Corny, groan-worthy, but also one of the simplest ways to share a moment with your kids.
Why do you have to be careful when it's raining cats and dogs? Because you might step in a poodle.
And kids that spend more time with their dads grow up to be smarter, more successful.
Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding.
And, with any luck, funnier adults.
Why didn't the skeleton go to the dance? Because he didn't have any body to go with.
Dad jokes rule. So take a moment to make a moment and give your kid a laugh. It's as easy as going to fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
That's really funny.
Okay, men, this is your time. Maybe you didn't choose this, but you're here now. You're gonna go out there and be an all-star caregiver. It's up to you. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna go grocery shopping, cook, clean, be there emotionally and physically. You gotta dig deeper. Drive them to physical therapy, doctor's appointments. Don't you forget about the pharmacy. No, you won't. Because that's what caregivers do. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. This is your time to show the world, your family, and yourself that you're tougher than tough. Now go out there and be the best caregiver this world has ever seen. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick and proud aunt. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing. But not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. 1 in 6. That little girl sitting alone at the playground, she can't play like the other kids. She doesn't have the energy because she's hungry. School lunch will be her only meal today. It breaks my heart that this is the reality in our country, but it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste. This food is then provided to families and children in need. Being a kid should be about using your imagination, learning, and having fun. These children shouldn't have to miss out on simply being a kid because they're hungry. To find out how you can help end childhood hunger in your community, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
The Pete Shepherd Show. It's fun for the whole family, if it's dysfunctional.
Welcome back. It's hour number 2 of the Pete Shepherd Show here. It's August 13th and it's Tuesday. How's everybody doing? Spent the first hour talking about what happened with the Red Sox. Jarren Duran and the 2-game suspension. We had just played Duran's comments from yesterday. And now, Angel, if we can, hopefully the stuff is corrected. We're back on track here. If we can, I want to hear from Sam Kennedy and Craig Breslow yesterday as they addressed the suspension of Duran.
Yeah, it's a really difficult day, disappointing, unacceptable event yesterday, but proud of the way the organization immediately addressed it and proud of Jarren for acknowledging his horrific mistake and being accountable, but tough day.
Yeah, I think it is striking evidence that while we may have made strides and done great work, we haven't done nearly enough. I think an incident like this is an important reminder that there's still a ton of progress that needs to be made. And at the same time, I think we can acknowledge that Jarren has shown himself to be immediately accountable and is striving to do better, and we all can connect with that. It is complicated, it's disappointing and frustrating. I think at the same time, we see that Jarren, as a leader that he maybe is also flawed, and we all are, and people make mistakes. And I think to Sam's point, what matters is what happens now. and the consequential steps that Jaren takes toward repairing his relationship, not just with teammates and the organization, but with the LGBTQ community and others, by all who have been impacted by this.
Wow. Did he assassinate somebody's family, or am I misinterpreting this? Jesus Christ. That's a lot of alliteration for some throwaway line that was not meant to offend any anti-gay people. Oh, my God. These people are unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. They feel like they have to go on this big diatribe and make all the, okay, you want to say it was a stupid mistake that he made. All right. Don't act like the guy just, wiped out half the planet. God almighty. You don't think that, you people don't think that crap is over the top, and then the mayor wants to meet with the Red Sox? Get the fuck out of here with that nonsense. Jesus. What is happening? The suspension, by the way, in line with MLB's past discipline for the use of anti-gay slurs. In 2017, the league suspended Oakland A's outfielder Matt Joyce 2 games, who also used to play for the Red Sox, for directing an anti-gay slur to a fan. Said the same type of thing. That same season, then Toronto outfielder Kevin Pillar was banned 2 games after directing a slur similar to what was used by Duran and Atlanta reliever Jason Mate, whom Pillar believed had struck him out on a quick pitch. See? The quick pitches. And then 2012, Blue Jays infielder Escobar received a 3-game suspension for wearing eye black stickers with an anti-gay slur in Spanish. So I just think it is such an overblown. We haven't come far enough as a society. That word would be used 8 million times in this country alone today, and it won't be meant as an anti-gay slur. It won't. There's always the knuckleheads out there that do mean it that way. There's a lot of words out there that can be interpreted one way or the other, depending on the context in which it is used. But to treat this guy like he just wiped out half the planet, it's just it's just so over the top.
I think
over the top. Go ahead.
Yep, I think that's where for you to come on, and again, I'm not condoning what he had said.
No, we all agree. It was a stupid thing to say, but
right. But for this guy to come on and say the horrific event yesterday, horrific event would be the plane that crashed in Brazil over the weekend with 62 passengers. That's a horrific event.
Yes.
That's
on the earthquake in California yesterday. That I'm surprised nobody got hurt. There were people on the air yesterday, not just people on the air. Obviously, I didn't see anybody. I hope nobody got hurt. That would be a horrific event. Horrific event? Horrific. I have. If I just heard that, talk about taking something out of context. If I just heard Sam Kennedy or Craig Breslow say horrific event, I'd be like, oh my God, who died? First thing I'd say was, who died? Was there a felony committed or something? Horrific event. Seriously? Does anybody think that was a horrific event?
Yeah, and it's the stuff that's kind of irritating too, because because they've in the last 4 years we've seen a lot of changes with a lot of different things. The one thing is we're never, I don't care who you are, what ethnicity you come from, whatever you want to believe in, there for people to say we still need to learn a lot more. You're never going to make everyone happy. You're just not.
Yeah, I agree. Right.
You're never going to make everyone happy, because I could say something that's humorous that someone else is going to take a major offense to it. That's why I said there's times when I come on the air, it's the same exact thing that, I'll say, please, people, don't take this. And everything should not come with a quote behind it. If it's a joke, people need to learn how to take a joke. Now, I'm not saying this is a joke, again, because now I have to explain myself.
No, you don't. No, you don't. That's the beauty of this show. You don't have to do that. You don't. And I find myself doing the same thing sometimes, and I shouldn't. I'm telling you that if Durant said on Sunday, go fuck yourself to that guy, very as low key as it was, that we would not be having this conversation.
No, it'd be something completely different. But it's just and they're going to keep it. I'm pretty sure ESPN's going to run with it. They're going to, dig and look for other stuff and this and that. You can erase history. You can erase what people talk about. But boy, if you bring certain things to the forefront, it's amazing to me. But anyways, Gas Pump Guy says these guys act like he attempted to kill somebody or something or rob someone their money from them. This is crazy the way they're talking about this guy. And it is absolutely insane. There's certain things that there's bigger issues in our world today to tackle and to take care of.
No, they're not, Angel. They're horrific events. Horrific.
This is true. So I just, to me, it's way, 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 and I can use the word way, way
over the top.
Blown out of proportion, way blown out of it. It was something that was said in the moment. Again, it wasn't something. As Gas Pump Guy says, I'll tell you how to feel, LOL.
Yeah, that's exactly it. The moral people. I'll tell you how to feel. Don't you know?
Yeah.
How righteous I am.
But it's just, it gets to be, it really does get, if you can't go out, that's like going, if you go, here's a great example. You go to a Joe Coy concert, right?
Oh, I love it.
You already know what's coming. Right. You should already know what's coming. And he's one of the very, very few comedians today that would actually say what's on his mind and make fun about it. The same way is that you should not have someone under 21, or if your state, the legal age of being an adult is 18, should not be going to his comedy concert because you already know the language he's going to use. So if your kid goes home and says, hey, mom, remember when he was talking about your pee? Yeah, let's talk about your pee. Let's sit down and talk about, and then your mom's now telling you, no, you can't say that. What do you mean? I was just at the concert. It was
We saw an example of that at one of Joe's, I think the last, especially had on Netflix, there was like a 10 or 11 or 12-year-old in the audience with his parents, and he called them out on it. Remember?
Yeah. And that's what I mean. Like you can't, that's where the hypocrisy lies because you can't tell. It's like there's certain animated movies, right? We all know they're made for adults. Come on. Hey, who are we kidding each other? But you'll have people that take their kids there and then the kid will come home. Mommy, why did this person do that? Although these kids today also are not as innocent as when we were growing up because they're more exposed to things than we were. Our parents sheltered us from a lot because they wanted us to be exposed to that as we got older, so we can experience life as a child. But a lot of these people, they don't even want to monitor their own children. And then when the kid comes home and says, oh, mom, F off. First of all, if I ever went home and told my mom that, I would not be alive today because she would have torn me, skinned me, threw me in a freaking ditch somewhere and be like, how's that working out for you there, buddy? So,
like, good fellas, if you talk to me like that again, in the fucking oven, you're going to go head first. My mother would just count to 3. She never got to 3, or she'd go, like most Italian moms, go for the wooden spoon. My dad all he had to do was give me a look. My parents were not hitters or anything like that. And I mean, I would never say stuff like that. Although when we were out playing baseball, there'd be times that and there would be some cussing going on because we were so ultra competitive. And my mother would say, if I went in for a drink of wine, she's like, hey, can you and the fellas tone it down a little bit? I said, I'd say, oh, sorry, mom, didn't mean to offend you. Or neighbors.
Yeah.
Neighbors one time, one neighbor said something to me about it, and I didn't know she was there. And she was gardening, and the ball had, it was just a bad play. The ball rolled down the drive with the baseball, and I went to get it. And I was so pissed because we're about to lose the game. This is like 5-on-5 in my yard. This how, with a real baseball and everything else. That's how competitive. It was like the Sandlot. That's how it was at my house. My house was like Fenway for us. Everybody gathered there. And the ball went down the driveway. And I think I was about, 10 or 11 years old. And again, my parents did not cuss, except in Italian. So, or very rare. My mother said son of a bitch once during a Providence College Holy Cross game that I remember when I was very young. She was mad at the official. But that's about it. And the ball went, to this lady's house, and I turned around and I went. It was my other friend Pete. I said, Jesus, and I just cussed him out for not covering the bag properly because we were so fundamentally sound. I'm telling you, it was like the Sandlot. And I went, God damn it, and this, that. And I just said, no, cover the fucking plate. And all of a sudden, like a phoenix, I'll just call her Mrs. B. she was gardening, and she was and she comes up, out of the garden like that, and she's like, Peter, where did you? If your mother ever knew, I went, oh, Mrs. I said, please don't tell my mother. I said, I didn't know you were there. I said, but Pete didn't cover the base. And she cracked up, and she's like, God, she's like, you guys, you're such good kids. She said, but when you're playing baseball, she goes, do you have to cuss so much like you guys do? I go, I'm sorry. She goes, they don't do this in real life. I said, well, I said, you're probably right. I said, I apologize. I said, please don't tell my mother. She's like, just say, I said, my mother told me the same thing. Please don't tell her. I'll get in trouble. I don't want to. She was like, she smiled. She's like, just, she goes, I have 3 daughters, and they were all beautiful. They were all old. They were like, when we were 9 or 10, these girls were like 13, 14, all hot. Kelly and Cheryl and Joyce. I'll never forget it. And she's like, I have 3 daughters. And I was like, yes, I know. Anyway, so, all right.
By the way, he says, these kids now think that they can say anything and be disrespectful, but at the same time, they want you to be cautious of their feelings.
Yeah.
And it's a bunch of bull crap, and we can't even spank our kids anymore because we'll get in trouble for it. Yeah, but that one,
it's all about this, because whenever a parent can't parent, here, look at your cell phone, play a game on it, or here's a tablet.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
This is a topic for
families at a table, and they can't even have a conversation because little Joey and little Sally are on their cell phone or on their tablet. It's not like you'd get a sheet back in the day and some crayons. That was about if a kid was acting up, somebody would bring over a sheet of crayon. I was never one of those guys. I wasn't a crayon guy.
Right.
I wasn't a crayon shaped guy. I would just sit there, talk to my parents, or you just listened. Imagine you just listened, and you treated everybody with respect. All right. Anyway, time now, Angela, if we could. Total Sports Rep. Let's go to MLB. It's time for the Red Sox report. If we go to some of the Red Sox highlights that I'll call for in a second. Again, the Red Sox report, as always, at this time of day, brought to you by Moynihan Lumber. Check out their complete line of Anderson windows and doors at any of their 3 locations in Beverly and North Reading, Massachusetts, and Plastow, New Hampshire. Exciting game last night for the Red Sox as let's just get to it. Let's see. Let's start with, I'm trying to find the cut. Okay, let's start with cut number 1. Here's the Red Sox. Emmanuel Valdez's RBI double in the bottom of the 10th. This is from ESPN.
2-2. Valdez launches. Center field. Struck well toward the wall. And it bounces up and over the wall for a ground rule double to tie the ball game. We are tied at 4 in the 10th inning.
Boy, Alex Cora pushing all the right buttons, huh?
All right, and then we'll go to cut number 4. I think Rob Refsnyder's walk-off single in the bottom of the 10th wins it for the Red Sox.
Come on.
Yeah, with the winning run just 90 feet away.
Snyder walked in the first, singled in the 7th. Seating is optional right now in Fenway Park.
Hey, it's not many of them sitting right now. I mean, why would you be?
Refsnyder on a line, left center field, and that's down, and that's the ball game. Good night from Fenway.
Red Sox win 5-4. They cut above that. Refsnyder on the walk-off knock.
Come on.
I don't know. It's like my job depends on it. It's I have a great hitting department, great hitting staff. They put me in some good positions to get some work in between starts and things like that. So I was just lucky and fortunate to come through right there. Had a tough at-bat against Kirby, really good split down in the zone. I was pretty disappointed I didn't come through there. So thankful I was given another opportunity. We were joking before the game. It wasn't a must-win, but it was a can't lose for us. Fortunate enough to just come through. It was a good team win. A lot of guys really stepped up. We're pretty banged up right now, so a lot of the bench guys have had to play a lot more. So, a lot of credit to the coaching staff. But, yeah, it's getting mid-August. It's kind of go time, so we got to get hot here. But we had a really, really good crowd tonight, and, that helped us a lot, I think.
All right. Again, Rob Refsnyder hit a game-winning single with 2 outs in the 10th after pinch hitter Emmanuel Valdez leadoff double tied the score, and the Red Sox beat the Rangers 5-4 in 10 innings last night. They're coming off that 3-game sweep by the Astros, where they got outscored 23-10. Seemed like the Astros had 23 home runs in that game. So what else happened in that game yesterday? Josh Wachowski, 3-1, worked a hitless inning for the win. Josh Smith grounded a shortstop, drove an automatic runner, Marcus Semien, from third in the top of the 10th inning. The Rangers took the lead, but Rangers reliever Andrew Chafin walked in 2 runs to give the Sox a 3-1 edge before Seager hooked Bailey-Horn's first pitch sweep into the seats in right field. It was a good game last night, and the Rangers have been really struggling. So have the Red Sox. So anyway, the Red Sox still 2 games behind Kansas City. That's okay. Up next for the Red Sox. By the way, Trevor Story took a live batting practice on the field for the first time. He's working back from that April shoulder injury and hopefully is back sooner rather than later. Rafael Devers was back in the lineup after having Sunday off, and left-handed pitcher James Paxton was placed on the 15-day injured list with a strained right calf. Tonight, the Red Sox will have Carter Crawford, the righty on the mound. He's 7-9 with a 4.11 in the game 2 of the 3-game set. Rangers go with Jose Urena. He's 3-7 with a very good 3.74 ERA. So there's your Red Sox report, as always, brought to you by Moynihan Lumber. Check out their complete line of Anderson windows and doors at any of their 3 locations in Beverly and North Reading, Massachusetts, and in Plastow, New Hampshire. Elsewhere in Major League Baseball, Minnesota beat Kansas City 8-3. It's a huge series there for both of those teams, as they are the second and third wildcard teams, respectively, and the teams that the Red Sox are chasing. Cleveland beat Chicago 9-8. White Sox clobbered the Yankees 12-2. Yankees minus 350 last night. Not only that, Angel, on the money line last night, it was still they were minus 3.5 runs on the money line, which is just on the run line, I should say, which is insane, which means they had to win. Instead of laying 350 to win 100, which is crazy anyway. But even on the run line was minus, I think, 210. It was minus 3.5, which means you to just lay minus 210 to win the 100. You had to have the Yankees win by 4 runs, and they lost by 9. Or lost by 10, I should say, 12-2. Cincinnati, of course, if you bet the White Sox the other way, you made out. Cincinnati over St. Louis 6-1. Same score. Houston over Tampa Bay 6-1. Alex Bregman, man, he had another blast. Guys, seems to hit a home run every single day. Dodgers over Milwaukee 5-2. Mookie Betts homered after being activated off the IL. Toronto beat the Angels by a score of 4-2. Arizona nipped Colorado 5-4. San Diego beat Pittsburgh 2-1. Great battle yesterday in Atlanta with San Francisco, and the Braves prevail 1-0 in 10 innings. So there is your MLB rundown for you right here. And we will get to some NFL stuff a little bit later on. Bill Burt is coming up. And hopefully he's not driving this time, Angel. Hopefully he's not driving. And before a little funny story I came across before we get back into it. I have here a list of the top cities people are moving to and the top cities, Angel, that people are moving from. This from the finance newsletter.com, which I will not subscribe. It's blue check mark with almost 396,000 followers. So top cities people are moving to. Number 1, Phoenix, Arizona. I can't see on my screen, Angel.
What your?
I can't see that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I can only see you down below, but I need to see you. There you go. There he is. So the top cities people are moving to. Number 1 is Phoenix, Arizona. Number 2 is Dallas, Texas. Number 3 is Austin, Texas. Number 4 is Denver, Colorado. Number 5 is Charlotte, North Carolina, or as one student once sent me, summa cum laude, for a job. called it the Carlotti Hornets, not the Charlotte Hornets. I'll never forget that. Number 6, top cities people are moving to Las Vegas, Nevada. And number 7, Angel, top cities people are moving to Tampa, Florida. Now, the antithesis, top cities people are moving from. And no one should be surprised by any of this, considering how expensive it is to live. Number 1, New York City. That's in New York, by the way. Los Angeles. That's in California. Number 3, Chicago. That's in Illinois. Number 4, Washington, D.C. Number 5, San Francisco, California. Number 6, Seattle, Washington. And number 7, Boston, Massachusetts. Top cities people are moving from. And you can understand all of that stuff. It's very, very expensive, although they're all beautiful cities and have a lot to offer. All of them. You can understand why, when you get through the taxes and the weather in some of these places, you can understand why people are leaving. And you can understand for the same reasons why people are moving to other places like Phoenix, Dallas, Austin, Denver, Charlotte, Vegas, and Tampa. Better taxes and better weather on the whole.
Yippers.
That's what it comes down to. All right, let's take a quick break. Bill Burt from the Eagle Tribune is going to join me next. Hopefully not in the car, but we'll see. Like last time he was on with us last month. We'll see how this works out. Bill Burt, we'll talk a whole bunch of stuff coming up next here on the Pete Shepherd Show on the Coastal Sports Network.
Hi, folks. This is Gerard Moynihan of Moynihan Lumber, and I would like you to know that our company has been selling Anderson windows for over 60 years. See the complete line of Anderson windows at any of our 3 locations in North Reading, Beverly, or in Plastown, New Hampshire, or at MoynihanLumber.com.
What's up, Southwest Florida? Jim and the Beef Guy here. Fort Myers, we answered your call. We're pumped to announce the opening of our second location. It's on 41 just north of the Edison Mall. And guys, nothing's changed here. The beef, the sausage, the breaded steak, our Maxwell Polish. Now serving you in 2 locations, Fort Myers and Bonita Springs. And don't forget, if you're having a party, check out our catering menu.
Hey guys, when you're at the counter, don't call it gardenia. It's pronounced Chardonnay.
Right now, our country feels divided, but there's a place where people are coming together.
I gotta tell you, I was nervous to talk to someone so different than me.
Me too, but I'm glad we are.
Love Has No Labels and One Small Step are helping people with different political views, beliefs, and life experiences come together through conversation, and it feels good.
Wow, your story is so...
Interesting?
Yeah.
When people actually sit down, talk, and listen to one another, they can break down boundaries and connect as human beings. At lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep, you can listen to amazing, life-changing conversations and find simple tools to start a conversation of your own.
I know one thing. This conversation gives me hope.
It gives me a lot of hope, too.
Take a step toward bringing our country and your community together by having the courage to start a conversation at lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep. A message from StoryCorps, Love Has No Labels, and the Ad Council.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s. Why should saving for retirement be any different? I mean, they go back to college, learn new instruments, start skateboarding. Whoa! Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. With aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a 3-minute chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach from AARP. You'll get personalized recommendations based on your input that are easy to understand and work with your lifestyle. It's quick, easy, and free. Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back.
Woohoo! Gnarly move, Dad.
Thanks, sweetie.
So wherever you are in your retirement savings journey, head to aceyourretirement.org and start chatting with Avo today. That's aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
The Pete Shepherd Show. It's fun for the whole family, if it's dysfunctional.
Back here at the Pete Shepherd Show. Speaking of dysfunctional, Bill Burke said he lost the link, so we just resent it. Angel says he sent it last night, but it's Billy. So I'm going to say, Angel sent the link last night. You should have it, but resending now. Anyway, there you go. Live and local. Pete Shepherd Show here. Thanks, everybody, checking us out on the Coastal Sports Network and the video platform. Follow me at pshep326 on X, Twitter, on Facebook, at SR1029 The Game, SR1029thegame.com, ION CSN Florida, Rumble, Spotify, LinkedIn, Twitch, YouTube. You can call or text the show 727-858-6650. Vic says happy National Left-Handers Day and locally happy 8/13 day for Tampa. 8/13. Am I missing out on something on happy Tampa 8/13 day?
So 8/13, you got to think about it. The area code, Tampa, 813.
Yeah.
8/13 day.
I know the 305 because it's where my Hurricanes play. So, I mean, but 8/13, okay. Well, happy 8/13 for everybody in Tampa today.
Yeah.
Good job.
Followed by Mr. 305.
Bill Burke from the Eagle Tribune going to join me. I have no doubt, Angel, that you sent him the link, and I don't know what happened to it, but with Billy, but we'll find out. Some other NFL news, too, which you haven't got to. It's time to make fun of the Jets for a second while Billy tries to connect. Hassan Reddick is set to earn $14.25 million in the final year of his current contract, and the nearly 30-year-old has posted 51 sacks in his last 66 games, leading to a projected valuation of over $26 million per year in the system. But now he wants to be traded from the Jets. He was traded from the Eagles to the Jets because they demanded a better contract from the Eagles. They said, no, here, Jets, you take him. You deal with him. Well, all this stuff, how much important. Remember all the bullshit that came out? Oh, you mean so much to us. Yeah. Big song and a dance, more alliteration. And no, just an absolute mess there with the Jets. So Jets sent a conditional 2026 third-round pick to the Eagles in exchange for Hassan Reddick. Showed up for his physical and press conference and spoke highly about the organization and the opportunity. But then there was no new deal, and now there is a trade request. It's called Jets football. It's fantastic. Meanwhile, my Patriots look like they might be losing Matthew Judon, which I think stinks. But they don't have the expectations that the Jets do. And just it's more interesting, it's funnier to make fun of the Jets anyway. Also, head coach Kevin O'Connell yesterday for the Minnesota Vikings. This was a little scary. Quarterback J.J. McCarthy has a knee soreness. He will not participate in practice yesterday. Anyway, and joining me right now from the Eagle Tribune, the one and only Bill Burt, not in his car, which is fantastic. Bill Burt, sports editor for the Eagle Tribune. Good morning, William. How are you?
Wow, weather looks great down there. I can see in the background, bro. I'm coming down soon. I don't know if it's next year or next 6 weeks, 6 months. I'm definitely moving in your direction. So,
yeah, that's not actually my backyard, but that's the closest thing I could find to it. If that's what you mean.
Looks awesome. I like the trees in the background. Yeah, things are good. What's going on, guys?
What's going on? Okay, first of all, I didn't know. I know you covered the Patriots, you covered the Reds. Were you at Fenway last night for what Sam Kennedy called an horrific event? Horrific.
Yeah. So
you there for that last night?
No, I wasn't there. I'm going tonight. I am going tonight. So I did see the press conference, and these are, unfortunately, this is not surprising. These are the times we're in. The mayor has even jumped in. She wants to meet, which is a farce.
Doesn't she have anything better to do? Does she have nothing better to do?
I would never meet with the mayor. We're making a mountain out of a molehill. He did something stupid. Personally, I just think he should apologize, which he did. And it was a sudden outburst. He was in a little slump here over a couple of games. They've lost 3 in a row. Fan yells something, he yells back. It was stupid. Apologize, he did. These days we have to take the penalty, and that's the way it is. One game, I would probably say it's too much, but okay, we'll do the one game. 2 games is crazy, but those are the times we're in right now, and it's unfortunate. And I agree. Listen, I like Sam Kennedy, great, really a nice guy.
So do I. I like him a lot too.
He does a great job. But this happens. This has happened before, and the Red Sox they're very, very sensitive to the feelings of a few people, in my opinion, and that's what they're doing here. And I think what they're thinking is, look, we're gonna overreact, and this will be swept under the rug, and people will look at us. They will look at us with quote unquote the respect, the way we handle things. And I just think Duran. I feel bad for. What he said was stupid, and he should apologize. And in my opinion, that's that.
No, and like I said, I went on social media yesterday, almost as a test, because I don't like to comment until I get on my show about stuff like this. But it's just amazing, Bill. My whole thing was when this story came out yesterday, I posted on Twitter, or responded to somebody, because you get the holier than thou people out there, that always are telling you to be better, no matter what you say, be better, or nobody cares, that kind of stuff, which just aggravates the shit out of me. But my whole thing was, okay, he said it. It was, to me, it wasn't meant. We've all said that word a million times.
Yep.
And I have never said it, or I've heard people say it in regarding sexual orientation, for being a homophobe. Those people that do that stuff.
Right.
Us as kids and we as kids, when you said that word, it was like saying a lot of other stuff. He meant you're being a jerk, you're being an asshole. So my whole thing was, yes, preamble, we always have to, yes, it was stupid. He shouldn't have said it. I've said the same thing. If he just turned around and and it wasn't like he turned around and screamed it at the guy. He said it sort of under his breath. He shouldn't have said it. If he had said, Bill, fuck off, asshole, would we be having this conversation today? Would we be having this conversation?
No, we wouldn't be. It would be. It's like,
why? That's offensive.
It's absurd. You could argue that's much worse, but no, we wouldn't be. We wouldn't be. But listen, over at Fenway Park, that's the way it is, and everything is overreacted. Like, we can even go back to the incident with the Baltimore Orioles and the alleged slur. No one even knows. No one was ever caught or
somebody just says it. Somebody used the N word. Somebody said or another word, whatever, and they always seem. It's like in radio stations sometimes.
Yep.
Right. You could please 500,000 people. The 500,000 first person that calls with a complaint, and you got idiot people in the business that just overreact.
Right.
You get called into the office for saying, I'm like, 1 out of 500,000. You're always going to offend somebody.
You have to understand, Pete, if I'm at a game and I hear someone next to me use that word, I'd borderline punch them. Are you an idiot?
Yeah.
I would turn, I don't even know if I'd turn them in. I just want to You're a real idiot. But
exactly.
No one. I don't. Again, we had to have it was like 2 days worth of apologizing, and I for what? I don't know. In the end, just because, and I've said this, listen, I'm in the journalism business. Just because someone says something doesn't mean it happened or it's the truth. And so, but we're in the times right now. This is what we're going through. We're going to have to deal with it for now, because if you don't, you're going to lose your job. And that's what happens. People, you got to be careful. There's a mob out there, and those are the times we're in. And it's sad. It is sad.
But the thing, and I agree with everything you're saying. And again, Bill Burt, sports editor for the Eagle Tribune, I just can't believe. And then you have these people. Some guy responded to me yesterday, and I'm trying to point out what is or what is not acceptable from the colloquialism I just used, or colorful metaphor. And immediately you always get these people. Either they turn into politics, or they say, "Oh, well, you must be okay with the N-word."
Right.
Just what does this have to do with anything else? And then we got the president of the Red Sox, or Craig Breslow, I can't remember, Sam Kennedy or Breslow said it, calling it an horrific event. And with Angel and I talked about this. You know what a horrific event was? The earthquake that happened yesterday in Los Angeles, or how about the plane from Brazil that went down?
Right.
This is a horrific event. Are you out of your fucking minds, people? Horrific event? What the hell? If you had just heard horrific event and didn't know what he was talking about, I would have said,
who died? Who died?
Boom.
Right.
I said the same. Who died? Or I said somebody on the team committed a felony or was hit by a car or something like that. Horrific event?
No.
Give me. Come on, man. Come on. You don't have to kiss ass that much, for Christ's sake. Just pisses me off. Horrific event.
This is the way it's been around here, especially around here, with quote unquote our history. So the mayor. What really upsets me now is the mayor wants to get involved. And he said something. He apologized. He's getting suspension. No, I don't want any meetings. We don't need any meetings. I don't get to go to any classes or anything. I messed up, and I'm not talking to anyone. I'm playing baseball. I'm a baseball player, and let me play baseball.
I said, I was trying to explain to somebody back in the day. You remember Frank from Gloucester gave me the nickname Stugat, Pete Stugat Shepherd.
Right.
Stugatz means in Italian, depending, and I'm 100% so.
Yep.
I mean, I've heard this slang my whole life. Depending on the context of it, Frank meant it as a term of affection, which it can be, but the literal translation in Italian is dick, and the other form of the C word. That's what it is. Where were people coming to my defense? And I didn't want people coming to my defense because I thought it was kind of my dad, God rest his soul, he didn't care for it too much. But then as the show went on, and he kind of got it. My mother was kind of the same way, but that's kind of cute. But no, my dad's like, Lucy, you know what that means? He'd say something Lucy about it, and I'd say, it's no big deal. It's no big deal.
Right. Well, look, we can argue that.
But I mean, because a lot of people didn't understand what that word meant, probably until they started watching The Sopranos. But I mean, and maybe this isn't. I'm just saying. There's different levels of being offensive, and I'm just saying that the connotation that Duran used, that he shouldn't have said it. It was stupid.
Right.
You have to say that a million times. But does anybody really think he was making a homophobic slur, or was just calling the guy a jerk?
Right.
Like most of the people that use that word in that context, that's what it is about. It's not being just like Stugatz can be used in a whole bunch of different ways, and I can go through a whole bunch of other slurs and a whole bunch of other words in other languages. And people need to understand it's about the context that it's used in.
What about if he said "F you"? That would have sounded bad.
I said that.
It would have sounded
bad. Fuck off out of here. You don't have to say it, but hey, fuck off out of here, asshole.
Right.
We wouldn't be having this conversation.
Right.
We wouldn't be. It's just, and so I mean, this and the mayor. I mean, aren't there bigger problems in Boston than worrying about? How about people that I know have 4-hour commutes that leave their house at 6 o'clock in the morning and can't go 8 miles without getting to work on time.
Hey, go to the North End and check out all the restaurants there that need help and support, and let them put through their outside restaurants. Don't put rules on them. And worry about bike lanes. We need to get small business going in Boston.
I totally agree. That what she's doing to my friends in the North End is disgraceful. That is outrageous. That's offensive. That's offensive. I could think of other parts in the city she wouldn't do that too, but in the North End, that's okay. Don't worry about them. So, and I know what they're going through.
Yep, there's enough going on in this world in Boston. Worry about Boston and make Boston a better place. Let's stay out of this stuff, please. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. Rick, we know what that fag means cigarette in England. Yes, I mean it's common language, but again, that's the context. But if you went, I don't know if people from over here went over there and heard that term for a cigarette. Is that a horrific? No, it's a slang word that they use over there. It's been that way forever.
Look, he apologized. He
did.
and he's suspended. And should he have been suspended? Look, there's a writer. I saw the tweet. Who's a trans writer who said Jaron Duran is nothing but a gentleman to them, and no issues, and feels it shouldn't be a suspension here. So this is someone who, quote unquote, could be considered, the person who would be offended by that comment. Said, no, I would not suspend him. He apologized, and that's good enough for me.
And it should be good enough for everybody, except for the holier than thou people. It's just, and whatever God they believe in, they know better. They're going to tell you how you should think and how you should feel, because if you accept what he says, it's just a throwaway remark, then you're a racist, because that means you use the N-word and other derogatory remarks around, which is just the stupidest thing out there. And then the people that say, do better. No, you don't know me. You do better.
Right. You do better. You do better. Right.
So anyway. All right. So anyway, it was a much-needed win. This team is really, really banged up. I think when last we spoke, I remember going through the schedule. I'm like, if they can make it to like August 25th and still be within a couple of games of Kansas City, we'll be in business here. Yes, they are still within 2 games of Kansas City, but the way how devastated Pax is now on IR, he's going to be out for a while. I mean, throwing just like 5 pitches the other day, and the way the Astros just beat the shit out of him. But Bergman hit another home run last night. That was against Toronto. So he hits a home run every day now. But I think it's going to be awfully, awfully tough for this team to stay in the race, unless there's some AA pitcher or AAA that I don't know about that's going to be able to come in and work a miracle here. It's devastating what's happened to him.
Yeah. So Pete, I think you got to look at what I'm looking at is the fact that Alex Cora re-signed is a big deal, and I think what was told to him was, we're going to make a little effort here at the trade deadline, but we're more concerned with next year and beyond. And I really think there's momentum. There's something about this team. You got to another great game last night. They fight.
They're gritty as hell.
Look, you've had Lou Maloney on here, and as I've told you, Lou Maloney is a major league manager who's on the radio. Lou, or you could say a general manager. And Lou said they need a right-handed bat, and they need 2 starting pitchers probably, and they didn't get it. They didn't get either. They got one, a lefty, Paxton, who's now he's hurt, and he's probably out for a year.
Yeah.
There is someone out there like a Rich Hill, but remember, Rich Hill's a 4 or 5 inning pitcher, but he's someone that they're probably going to. I think that's a guy they're probably going to look at over the next couple of days. So here's my opinion. I think the Red Sox are going to hang around for the entire way. I would not be shocked if they made it, if they got that 3rd spot, and if they got in the playoffs, they'd be dangerous because they got this little swagger about them. They got this little Alex Cora thing. And I think we're seeing how good of a manager Alex Cora is. Let's be honest. The last 3 years, they've been undermanned. They've been hurt. They haven't had the talent, and they've made runs. And the only thing that happened with Time Bloom, he didn't go after anything at the break. He worried about accumulating players and assets, and instead of winning. This is about winning. The Red Sox fans want to win. Look, I know a little bit about New York too. The New York fans want to win. So that's what you got to do when you're in Boston. You got to look at now, and you got to look at the future. I think what my thing about the Red Sox is, I think Alex Cora was told, we are going for it next year. And so hang with us because I thought he was gone. I thought no chance he was staying here. And he you can see he likes this group. You can see he uses a lot of players. He's running this like a National League outfit here. This is like everyone you come to the park, you're probably going to play, and I think that's probably how the team is built per se. You'd probably rather have 7 or 8 guys that are going to play, but that's not how this team is built. I will say I think next year I think they're going to go after a free agent or two, and I think they're going to go after an arm. So I think next year is a different year. All I'll say right now is this team comes to perform. It comes to play every night. They had that bad series against the Yankees where they should have won 2 out of 3.
Yep.
Jansen blew that. Honestly, Jansen blew 2 games. One against the Dodgers, the first game, and they fell apart after that loss. Then they happened against New York. They win the first game. They're probably going to win the second game. He blows that game. Next thing you know, they lose. The Yankees now haven't really lost since then. But again,
lost last night though to the White Sox, 12-2.
Right. Well, that was bad too. But that's baseball. They're going to happen.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I just think I think this team, all the starters on this Red Sox team, other than Bayo, who's starting to look a little better. This is more like every starter is a 4th starter, a 3rd starter. They need an ace. They need a number 2. And they're not there yet, and I think that's more for next year. But look, I like this team. I'll say it again. Devers is starting to be a star, and he's starting to have that alpha personality. Not so much the talker per se, but on the field. And I like the direction of this team, and I think that's what the best part of what happened at the break. They went after a couple of guys, low end guys. But they are going for it going forward. And I think that's the only reason why Alex Cora stayed, because he was assured of that.
Well, I certainly hope so. It's nice that John Henry made an appearance yesterday as well. Of course, when the shit hits the proverbial fan, here comes JH. No one has seen him. Now he rises up like a phoenix to try to put the flames out. Just ridiculous. All right, let's move on to the Patriots here. The Matthew Judon situation is getting serious. I thought maybe it was going to get resolved. Now I'm not so sure. I would hate to lose this guy. He says he'd play under the $6.5 million tab. We know that he's underpaid in this day and age. I understand that. What are his chances of being on this roster come September 8th? 50-50 or more?
It doesn't look great now. Pete, look, this is a different team than you sort of were around for at least the first
20 years.
Two-thirds of this 20 years. It's a different animal. They go from a military operation to now we're sort of run by committee. There's like a committee, and I don't know if Jonathan's at the top of this committee, but it's a different feeling around here.
Oh, we lost Bill. Yeah. Frozen in time. Yeah, he'll probably refresh. I'm going to text him to refresh. Here we go. There you go, Bill. You're back. There he is. Bill Burt, you're back. Or maybe not. He was back. Well, he's at home with his Wi-Fi today. Try to refresh again.
Just so people don't, because when I speak to you, those on the radio can hear me when I'm speaking to you, but the live audience that view us live can't hear me when I'm talking to you. So I don't want people to think, who's he talking to? But no, hopefully he'll refresh because it was going really good. So hopefully he can refresh and come back. Well, remember yesterday when John was with us, all of a sudden his thing decided to update, just added clear blue.
Yeah, it happens. And then Patrick Kilroy, we lost him yesterday too. This is Wi-Fi. But hopefully, I'm just going to text him just to refresh.
All right. If we offended the Wi-Fi, we haven't done enough for idiots.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. He's trying to come back.
Processing. He's trying.
He's trying.
Keep him aboard.
He's
Can
trying.
you hear us? I don't see Bill.
Yep.
It's one big black box.
Yeah. I think we can see his name. Hold on, he's probably gonna try and refresh again.
I saw his name for a second.
Yep.
And again, try to use Chrome. I hope you're not using Safari or Microsoft. Use the Chrome app. Cannot stress that enough. When you come on this show, you got to use the Chrome app. It works 99.9% of the time.
Yepers.
So hopefully you're not on Safari or you're not on Microsoft. Nothing against those sites, but for the practical purposes of this show, Bob brings up a good point while we wait for Bill to reconnect. Don't forget to mention the Patriots' first exhibition game against an NFL team, the Baltimore Colts, happened on August 13th, 1967, and they lost 33-3 at Harvard Stadium. Yes.
Seems like
thanks, Bob, for that.
Speaking of, I would like to know. I mean, granted, I wasn't around, but because Bob brings up the point there with the Colts when they were in Baltimore. Can you imagine, Pete, if you're a sports fan, you wake up the next morning, here you are, the local paper, the local news, all of a sudden it's like, the Baltimore Colts have gone somewhere. We just don't know where.
I know. That is something that is one of the most incredible stories of all time. Yep. Just packed up and left.
Yeah.
Just
that's literally packing up the wagon and leaving out of town. I mean, it's just that's insane. Well, before, and that's the way a lot of stuff used to happen before, at least, when you went out of town because no one could see you because there weren't cameras and everything else. Now you try to leave somewhere in the middle of the night, there's a camera's going to pick you up somewhere.
All right. 727-858-6650. We might just have to call it a day with Bill Bird here. He's having a hard time connecting from his home. Yeah, I wanted to ask him about his son, too. Max is an infielder in the Yankees organization as well, as most of you know by now. But, all right. I tell you what, Angel, let's take another quick break here. And when we come back, I got a whole lot of video you need to play. Let's see. A whole lot of video from a couple different and it's funny stuff from ESPN, the Pat McAfee show. Bill Belichick made an appearance yesterday on McAfee show. We'll have that. And then when I come back to, I'm going to give you one of the most bizarre stories I've heard yet from a teacher in Illinois. And wait till I tell you what she stole and how much she stole. All part of the Pete Shepherd Show. Hour number 3 is next right here on the Coastal Sports Network.
Hi, folks. This is Gerard Moynihan of Moynihan Lumber, and I would like you to know that our company has been selling Anderson windows for over 60 years. See the complete line of Anderson windows at any of our 3 locations in North Reading, Beverly, or in Plastown, New Hampshire, or at MoynihanLumber.com.
What's up, Southwest Florida? Jim and the Beef Guy here. Fort Myers, we answered your call. We're pumped to announce the opening of our second location. It's on 41 just north of the Edison Mall. And guys, nothing's changed here. The beef, the sausage, the breaded steak, our Maxwell Polish. Now serving you in 2 locations, Fort Myers and Bonita Springs. And don't forget, if you're having a party, check out our catering menu.
Hey guys, when you're at the counter, don't call it Gardenia. It's pronounced Chardonnay.
Ion Tampa Bay is the latest news, weather, and traffic for Pinellas, Pasco, Ellsboro, Hernando, and surrounding communities. Stay connected on X, Facebook, and their website, iontp.com. Ion Tampa Bay keeps you informed on breaking news as it happens. Southwest Florida's newest game in town. Sports Radio 102.9, the game powered by Ion Tampa Bay. We'll be right back.
Okay, men, this is your time. Maybe you didn't choose this, but you're here now. You're gonna go out there and be an all-star caregiver. It's up to you. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna go grocery shopping, cook, clean, be there emotionally and physically. You gotta dig deeper. Drive them to physical therapy, doctor's appointments. Don't you forget about the pharmacy. No, you won't. Because that's what caregivers do. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. This is your time to show the world, your family, and yourself that you're tougher than tough. Now go out there and be the best caregiver this world has ever seen. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick and proud aunt. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing, but not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. 1 in 6. That little girl sitting alone at the playground, she can't play like the other kids. She doesn't have the energy because she's hungry. School lunch will be her only meal today. It breaks my heart that this is the reality in our country, but it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste. This food is then provided to families and children in need. Being a kid should be about using your imagination, learning, and having fun. These children shouldn't have to miss out on simply being a kid because they're hungry. To find out how you can help end childhood hunger in your community, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Download the Sports Radio 102.9 FM The Game app and tell your friends that Florida has a new leader in digital sports radio.
That's right. It is the Coastal Sports Network, hour number 3, the Pete Shepard Show. And Billy apologized profusely. Whatever he was getting, sent me a text of just getting a bad error message. Said we will try again next week. But Bill Burt, thanks for joining me with your insights on the what happened with Jaron Duran and what happened with what's going on with the Patriots and Matthew Judon. We will monitor that situation for you. Meanwhile, thanks everybody for checking us out on the Coastal Sports Network video platform, on Twitter X at PShep326. Following me on Facebook, SR1029 The Game, and SR1029TheGame.com. Ion TV, CSN Florida, Rumble, Spotify, LinkedIn, Twitch, and YouTube. And also, you can get the podcast in case you missed it at rss.com/podcast via RSS. All the links are on my Twitter and Facebook pages as well. I do have to update my LinkedIn page. And sometimes it's only so much you can do in your profile. It will only let you do so much, but I will do my best to get all those links up there for you. All right, Angel, where are we at? I know where we're at. How are we doing over there? How are we doing today? It's 813 day.
813 day here in the Bay Area. So happy 813 to those. And it's August 13th. You guys do the math. 813. There you go. Ta-da. Anyways, no, good. And by the way, I love how a certain communications company tried to tell me I'm interrupting your service. I'm like, yeah, you can't, because I'm not regulated by you clowns. So if anybody's been listening in on the digital radio app, once again, this is why I say that we put the show live on the website along with the radio, which everything is 100% digital. And no, we are not a podcast for the 500 millionth time. For those who like to say, you guys are a podcast, no, we are actual live radio digital show on the platform, on the radio. And so the particular company who decided to send me a message, that's choice words to use. I'll save it for the next break. But no, you guys can't freaking stop me. Sorry to break it.
But the podcast, there will be a podcast after the show, and that's where you can go to the site, rss.com, and you
Correct.
can the podcast. That's how it is. If we were just doing a podcast, like some people do one a week for an hour or something, then it'd be a podcast. This is a live digital radio show.
Correct. And
worldwide. India, hello. Kazakhstan, hello.
Yeah, by the way, weird.
China, hello.
I can't, even our friend to the north, Canada has been listening in a lot. Listen, Canada, thank you. I know it's not hockey time. I know we talk about different things though, but just wait for hockey season. But thanks you guys for tuning in. Also, we will be locally talking to a Arca Menard Series garage here soon. So that will be coming up. I'm not too sure. It won't be more likely a live remote, but there'll be a probably something pre-taped, and I'll share it with you guys on the show as well. So that'll be coming up here within the next probably week or two. Huh?
What is that now? What event?
Arca Menard Series. So NASCAR has it where you have all these little baby steps to get to NASCAR. So Arca is one of the series.
I got to remember. I mean, you got to be really specific with me because I am NASCAR stupid. So
no, there's something that's coming up, and so kind of excited. I won't let everything out at the moment, but pretty exciting as far as what we're going to get into. And then we're also waiting for some other stuff to come through, hopefully an email here within the next couple of days or two. But and by the way, Tampa Bay Sun Football Club communications needs to be just a tad bit better. I'm not calling you guys out. Just need to be a tad bit better.
Well, it's so funny in this business, a lack of communication sometimes is always been astonishing to me. The right hand sometimes doesn't know what the left hand is doing. All right, I got some video I'm going to play off my Twitter page. But before that, Angel, the story I was telling you about, Illinois school district teacher sentenced to 9 years in prison for stealing $1.5 million worth of chicken wings.
Yep.
68-year-old Vera Liddell pulled off the chicken wing heist from July of 2020 to February 2022. She replaced orders for the chicken wings with a food provider for the school district, billed the district, but would then keep the wings. She ordered over 11,000 cases of wings. The heist took place during the pandemic when schools were closed, but some students would receive meal kits sent to their homes. The scheme was revealed when someone at the district found these invoices, which included wings with bones, something that is typically not served to students. I didn't know that. Oh, you got to go chicken tenders, right?
Yeah.
Kids are too stupid to, and I'm saying this facetiously, they think kids are too stupid to have a chicken wing on the bone.
Correct.
Maybe preschool or kindergarten, maybe. But you're telling me elementary school kids and high school kids can't eat chicken wings?
Sure you can.
It's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. All right, I'm going to scroll down. Well, another funny thing. Before we, I don't make a habit. Before we get back into sports, it's some funny video. We're going to address the AP poll that is out as well. From the Tonight Show last night, I don't watch it, Jimmy Fallon. But if something, like I said, if something strikes me as funny, we will show you the video. So Rachel Dratch, which you know her from Saturday Night Live and Curb Your Enthusiasm, she's been a lady. So we were talking about yesterday about breakdancing in the Olympics.
Yeah.
Jimmy Fallon doing his monologue last night, and all of a sudden she comes out. It's just like one of those breakdances to the limits. He doesn't know it. It's very funny. All right, here we go.
Wow, Reagan! This is wow, Reagan! Everyone, it's Reagan, everybody. Reagan. Thank you, sorry. I have to ask you this. how are you feeling since your performance?
Oh my God, okay, yeah, I understand. Reagan, okay,
Thank you, Reagan. Reagan, I see you speak through your dance moves. I understand. Okay, so is there anything else you'd like to tell us?
Yeah, that one.
Me? You want me to dance with you? All right, I can do that. Let's go.
Reagan, everybody, guys. Remember your suit.
Rachel Dratch, everybody. Rachel Dratch.
All right, so that's kind of funny. So I didn't see this is the woman, right? I think this is the one you were talking about, Angel, the Australian breakdancer Reagan. I guess that's how she is. I did not even see a glimpse of her.
Oh,
but I heard about it. But you know of her.
Yeah. Hang on.
So that was not really an act by Rachel. This is how this other person, this Reagan person, acts, right?
Yeah.
Apparently. And she won an Olympic gold medal for breakdancing.
No, she did not. She had 0 points, and you shall see why. See, ask and you shall receive.
God.
Here is the actual Reagan in the performance in the Olympics. This is, so it's supposed to be breakdancing, which the breakdancers don't like to be called breakdancing. They like to be called pop lock. I don't know, pop lock and roll, almost like, when you're.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So this is her and her performance at the Olympics.
I can do that.
Anybody can.
Wow.
There was still.
How do you qualify for something like that?
But listen, Australia put their money together and sent this lady over there. Mind you, she also, there's a video out there. She says that she teaches breakdancing. And if you look at the students in the crowd, she's like, we're week 7. We're at the point where we're going to start dancing. Here's what we're going to do. And then that's what ends up showing up. Now, for those who like to follow the Olympics, I'm not saying that she's responsible for it, but there will be no breakdancing in 2028. Thank God.
Oh, my Lord. All right. This is going to be a time for some funny stuff. We've been kind of serious all morning long. So scroll down again on my Twitter, please, Angel. Awful announcing. Yesterday on Get Up, this is kind of funny. Greeny and Perk were going at it about some NBA stuff. This is actually kind of a funny exchange here.
Rewinding with this. Big Perk, weren't you and LeBron drafted the same year?
Yeah.
How long you been out of the game?
Yeah. We were. Hold on, Greeny. Why you bringing up old stuff? Look, here's the thing, right? I just started. Look, Braun and I played. We played on the same AAU team with the Oakland Soldiers in high school. We was in the McDonald's All-American game, McDonald's class together. We were drafted together. Here I am. I started the next chapter of my life, and this man just keeps going. It's amazing to watch. It's amazing to see, for as a guy that actually witnessed the entire journey and was part of the entire journey of LeBron James.
There was a McDonald's joke in there to be made somewhere, Big Perk, but I love you too much to make it. Okay. Very well done. The money rewinding with this.
Good stuff yesterday. Some more good stuff from Pat McAfee's show. Angel, if we could scroll down to Pat McAfee, and I've got a couple of videos up there, but it's the one, how involved are you up at Washington right now, Coach, with Bill Belichick there as well in the middle. It's right after this. It's right after the Ayuk one on Pat McAfee's show yesterday, and Bill's going to be appearing on this show throughout the year. So yes, there it is. Interesting conversation yesterday on ESPN. with
Coach, don't you think it's kind of bullshit? Do you, Lombo, Pete Carroll, obviously Coach Fish, there is just brains galore up there. Does it feel like we're back at training camp? How involved are you up there, Coach?
Well, it's nice to, just get back and watch some action going on the field, be around Steve, being around Jed. They do a great job here at this program, and, it's just fun to watch what's going on and sit in on some meetings and watch players work. But good spot out here. Good environment, practicing right on the lake.
Oh.
Temperature is perfect. This is great training camp weather, 70 to 80. The weather's nice. Facilities are good, and the players are working hard.
Are we spinning the whistle? Because I've seen the documentaries. I've never been to one of your practices, but I've seen
Nope.
no whistle.
No whistle.
Yeah, that was a decision. That was a decision that was made. Who made the decision? How close? How involved are you? How out are you? How much do they want you? Because I assume everybody's like, hey, what are your thoughts on this, both coaches and players alike, or are you hands off here?
Yeah, Jed's got the whistle. Yeah, I'm just here to watch, and sometimes they ask me, to look at something or what I think about this or that or whatever. But it's been great. It's great to see these guys, and Jed's got a great staff. Jed does a great job with this program, and look forward to following them, during the year.
I'm betting you over on Washington.
For sure.
I'm betting you over on Washington immediately.
Again, we're talking about the Washington Huskies college football. We're not talking about the Washington Commanders / Redskins. We're talking about Washington football team. So that's pretty cool.
Wait,
If we continue, go ahead.
when did we squeeze in an 8th Super Bowl championship for Belichick? Are they counting the one that Tom Brady won in Tampa Bay?
No, I think they count the ones that where he's defensive coordinator for the Giants.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, exactly. All right, if we could scroll a couple more down, Angel, again with Bill. McAfee says, once you made me an offer, this is funny as well from yesterday.
Oh, okay, I see it. Give me a second. Drew.
He's given Tom E. Curran that answer that he just gave you.
Yeah, I mean,
30 to 50 times.
There was always a chance that something's going to happen.
But in that whole process of figuring out what the hell you want to do this season, was there a thought of maybe just defensive coordinator again, or did that road never really get crossed?
Pat, once you made me the offer, I'm in. You said draft, I'm in. You said Mondays, and I'm in. And that's it, man. That's the best offer I had, and I love that offer.
Oh,
I'm top Pat McAfee.
Okay, all right, yeah.
Better being on the Pat McAfee show.
Okay, all right.
Coach Saban did the same thing last year, right?
Yep.
Coach Saban, Mike Lombardi. I mean, I feel part of a very select group, and I appreciate the opportunity to be on with you. I really do.
So
You
whatever.
guys do a great
Okay,
job.
Hell
yeah, Bill.
Bill.
Hell yeah.
We do wish we would have been able to see you as just a defense coordinator. I mean, that's it. When we started thinking about you with that San Francisco 49ers defense, too, and it's like you don't have to deal with any other bullshit other than just drawing up plays for that defense. It would have been crazy to think about. It would have been the old LT days whenever you had your down on it. We would have been, we were thinking
Yeah,
about
writing upside down on the chalkboard, right? Writing upside down in front of the team.
Yeah, would have been old school. We would appreciate it. Okay, so the answer is
this year I'm just excited to be on with you. Really am, Pat. And AJ and the rest of the crew, you guys were awesome. It was great at the draft, and I look forward to the season. Look forward to being with you every week.
Well, we're lucky to have you. Are you with Lombardi right now? Is there a Paisan roaming around or no?
Mike's next door. Yeah, Mike's next door.
What do you mean next door? You have an office?
Of course.
Well, he's in the next room. Yeah, I mean, I don't want anybody to come in and, mess up our conversation.
It's very nice. Do you have an office out there, though? Does Lombardi have an office out there? Do you have an office? Pete Carroll's got an office?
We're in different.
What the hell's going on?
Yeah, there's a couple empty rooms. We pile into them, dump our stuff down. Sure.
Has got an office.
Yes.
Does his girlfriend have an office?
Oh, that's true. Yeah, it's the romper room. Yeah, Play-Doh and
Play any ball net. There you go. Entertain yourself.
Anyway, and if we could scroll down, just the next one on awful announcement. We talked earlier today. Speaking of horrific events, thankfully this was not one of them. But when I was flipping through yesterday, I just happened to see this live. check this out. Where ESPN Los Angeles, Malika Andrews is hosting NBA Live, and then this happened.
Home country in these Olympics.
And it was so much fun to see, particularly the crowd sort of getting behind as we have a bit of an earthquake here in Los Angeles. So we're just going to make sure that our studio lights, everything stays safe, everything's shaking. You good, Mylan? Everybody good? All right, thank you so much for bearing with us through that. Our studio was shaking just a little bit. Tarsi, if you're still good in the studio and everyone's still good. All right, so this is what I want to show you now. Rebecca, I appreciate you just bearing with us here.
Home country.
No, that's scary.
That's an horrific event. It could have been. Thank God it wasn't.
Could have been, yeah.
Thank God it wasn't. Thank God it was not.
And you figure that's just at a 4, Pete, and you can hear it shaking pretty well in the video. So, I mean, could you imagine anything higher than everybody knows? If for those who don't remember, way back in the, good Lord, had to be in the 90s, when Good Morning America was on, and the big one that hit out there in L.A., when they were on live and there's lots of these studio lights in them coming down, they were running for the hills, and then obviously we saw the double-decker bridge on one.
Well, yeah, in San Francisco in '89. I mean, during the World Series, I will never forget that as long as I live, between Oakland and San Francisco. I mean, that was just that was something I'll never forget. And Al Michaels was amazing. He was the go-to guy for the entire world there because somehow ABC had a Jenny or something like that, and they were able to get him on, and that was unbelievable what happened, and the fact that they finished that World Series that the A's eventually won over the Giants. But yeah, that was unbelievable. Andrew, if we could scroll up a little bit, getting back to McAfee it's NFL on ESPN.
Coach,
look, hang on, because I swing by the videos that I played.
I understand. It's Pat McAfee again with Adam Schefter yesterday, and they're talking about the Guardian cap. So I know people were like, what's the Guardian cap that I think Taylor was wearing it for the Colts the other day. But here is Pat McAfee and Adam Schefter explaining this, the Guardian caps, helmets, different type of helmet.
The Guardian caps that we saw during the games. The Colts, I believe, had the most. 5 players wore the Guardian caps, including Jonathan Taylor, starting running back, one of our highest paid guys. That's a big deal. We talked to Dr. Alan Sills last week. He said the players are allowed to do that if they want. We've sent the knit tops to cover up the pillows so it looks as if it is the helmet and the entirety of it. Other teams did it as well. I think Pittsburgh Steelers had a guard that was wearing one. Is this just going to become the new norm, or how many more players do you think we see this from, and what is kind of expectation you think around the league, Schefter, what you're hearing?
You know where I think this is going, Pat? I think we used to see hockey back in the day where players never wore helmets. We used to have people driving cars that never wore seatbelts. And I don't think this is going to happen overnight, but I think eventually we're going to look back and we're going to see some of the great players in this sport have played this game with little helmets that didn't protect their brains. And you're going to see more and more people gravitating towards this because it's a safer way to play. And I know it takes a little time to get used to seeing the players like that, but already, as you said, 5 Colts were wearing them. We saw sprinkles of other players wearing them throughout the course of the weekend. And to me, it's only a matter of time before this becomes more and more regular, more and more accepted, and players recognize that it's just safer for them to be out there like that. Let me ask you this question, Pat. Yeah. Would you ever, if you were still playing, if you were still punting, I know it's not the exact same thing, but you played in a violent way. If you still were punting, would you consider wearing a helmet like that?
So I was talking about this actually earlier today because I appreciate the fact that the Colts are seemingly the smartest team in the entire NFL. Now, there's a lot of old school football players that are going to say, these guys putting pillows on their heads in the games. That's old school football players, but old school football players think that about everything. They're yelling at clouds for everything. I very much led with my head every time I tackled somebody. 20-something. Head just literally torpedoing. Now, if I get called, it's kicker getting called for personal foul, leading with the helmet. Pretty sick, actually. So, there was would I do it if I knew all the ins and outs, or if I had any head trauma, or how they probably, especially if it was an option.
All right, and then finally, Angel, if I can impose upon you to go to ESPN and click on NCAAF, their football. and scroll down 4 stories down or 5 stories down, talking about the AP Top 25 that was released yesterday and Paul Feinbaum's take, talking about Michigan specifically, which I know it pisses off our maize and blue people out there, but nevertheless, I think Finding might be onto something. And then
we're on ESPN. You said, sorry,
ESPN on NCAA football, and just click on that, and then scroll down, not the stories, but right in the middle of the video. Scroll down like 5. You'll see Paul Feinbaum's top 25 reaction. Michigan is a marginal playoff team.
Pardon me.
That's all right. You're all choked up about it.
Yeah.
All right. So I know you're probably going to play a commercial or so before that, but so do you see it?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. So while the commercial's playing, I'll just tell you exactly. The AP poll came out yesterday. You know, the coaches poll came out last week. As I said yesterday, the coaches, you let me know when it's ready. So it's number 1 is Georgia. They got 46 first place votes. Ohio State, number 2 with 15 first place votes. Oregon, number 3, 1 first place vote. Then number 4, Texas, 5 Alabama, 6 Mississippi, 7 Notre Dame, 8 Penn State, 9 Michigan, 10 Florida State, 11 Missouri, 12 Utah, 13 LSU, 14 Clemson, 15 Tennessee, 16 Oklahoma, 17 Oklahoma State, 18 Kansas State, the U at number 19, Texas A&M at 20, Arizona 21, Kansas 22, SC 23, NC State 24, and Iowa 25, Louisville and Virginia Tech just missing out, and SMU just missing out as well. That's Feinbaum's reaction yesterday to Michigan.
Fine or not fine with the SEC getting 4 teams in the top 10?
Yeah, I'm
9
fine
teams
with
overall.
that, Matt. I mean, only 4 out of 10. One just barely missed. When you think about the fact that 9 SEC schools out of the top 25, I think you can get over the pain of only 4 in the top 10.
All right, and look, and I'm not saying, only 4. I mean, it's 40%. That's my Arizona State math kicking in. So I think they're still pretty good with some of the teams on the outside. I look at Missouri, LSU, 2 teams that are just outside the top 10 that I think eventually will work their way up. All right, fine or not fine. Here's one. Michigan at number 9.
I'm not that fine with that. I mean, to me, Michigan is a marginal playoff team. I think they're living off the past here. Jim Harbaugh is gone, and he's not coming back. In case you missed last week, I think they should have been a little bit lower.
I will say this about Michigan. They return a lot of skill defensively, offensively, the whole units in the NFL. It'll be interesting to see what they can do with Sharon Moore. And finally, are you fine or not fine with Colorado only getting 1 vote?
And Matt, I read your tweet a minute ago. It wasn't me. There's no way I would vote for Colorado. I mean, this is a program that is living off of its head coach, not off of its school reputation, because they have none other than a national championship about 30 years ago. They shouldn't have gotten a vote. And quite frankly, I'm sure that's going to get me in trouble with Coach Prime. I'm sure he's going to yell at me like he did the local media on Saturday, but I really don't care.
But that's what I was thinking. Like, we saw the back and forth with Deion Sanders and the local media and Coach Prime. So now he's going to have a problem with the entire Associated Press because they only got 1 vote. And now we know it wasn't Paul Feinbaum.
Yeah, Deion Sanders. I don't know if you saw that video, Angel.
Geico can help cover cars, home.
But, you know, he was really rude to a reporter who was a local CBS affiliate. Apparently, Deion has a problem with CBS Network. This guy was just trying to ask a couple of questions. The local CBS affiliate in Boulder tried to explain it. And Deion, you know, acted like a total jackass. He's just leaving a sour taste in my mouth. I just don't like, I guess you should expect it, but they never should have got a vote. Let's put it this way. Auburn got 2 votes. And Hugh Freeze and the Auburn Tigers are going to have a much better season, I promise you, than the Colorado Buffaloes as well. So that's something. All right, Angel, quick break, and then we're going to do just I'll do a quick recap, and then going to wrap things up because I have an appointment I got to be at today. And but we'll come back. Take another quick break here. The Pete Shepard Show. We'll come back and wrap things up here on the Coastal Sports Network.
Come on.
Hi, folks. This is Gerard Moynihan of Moynihan Lumber, and I would like you to know that our company has been selling Anderson windows for over 60 years. See the complete line of Anderson windows at any of our 3 locations in North Reading, Beverly, or in Plastown, New Hampshire, or at MoynihanLumber.com.
What's up, Southwest Florida? Jim and the Beef Guy here. Fort Myers, we answered your call. We're pumped to announce the opening of our second location. It's on 41 just north of the Edison Mall. And guys, nothing's changed here. The beef, the sausage, the breaded steak, our Maxwell Polish. Now serving you in 2 locations, Fort Myers and Bonita Springs. And don't forget, if you're having a party, check out our catering menu. Hey guys, when you're at the counter, don't call it gardenia. It's pronounced Jardiniere.
Okay, men. This is your time. Maybe you didn't choose this, but you're here now. You're gonna go out there and be an all-star caregiver. It's up to you. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna go grocery shopping, cook, clean, be there emotionally and physically. You gotta dig deeper. Drive them to physical therapy, doctor's appointments. Don't you forget about the pharmacy. I know you won't, because that's what caregivers do. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. This is your time to show the world, your family, and yourself that you're tougher than tough. Now go out there and be the best caregiver this world has ever seen. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick and proud aunt. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing, but not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. 1 in 6. That little girl sitting alone at the playground, she can't play like the other kids. She doesn't have the energy because she's hungry. School lunch will be her only meal today. It breaks my heart that this is the reality in our country, but it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste. This food is then provided to families and children in need. Being a kid should be about using your imagination, learning, and having fun. These children shouldn't have to miss out on simply being a kid because they're hungry. To find out how you can help end childhood hunger in your community, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad, just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
You're listening to The Pete Shepherd Show.
Welcome back. Final segment here on a Tuesday. The Pete Shepard Show on the Coastal Sports Network. Thanks, everybody, for checking us out across the entire radio platform and on the app as well. I see Angels got punched up. This happened on Saturday, I believe, or Friday, late last week or early on the weekend. Deion Sanders, talk about hypocrisy again. You know, he wants so much respect, but then refuses to give it out to other people. This guy apparently has been spurned by everybody. So here he is with an exchange with a local CBS reporter the other day.
That's the end of that question, I guess. Next guy.
Eric Christensen with CBS Sports Colorado.
CBS,
Tyler.
I'm not doing nothing with CBS. Next question.
Joe Rico, my
Ain't got nothing to do with you. It's above that. Ain't got nothing to do with you. I got love for you. I appreciate and respect you. Ain't got nothing to do with you. They know what they did.
I'm here in Denver, not national.
You are who you are. CBS is CBS.
All right.
Joe Rico, my last with you. I respect you. That's why I told you that. I'm looking you in the eye as a man. I respect you. I got love for you. But what they did was foul.
Take your sunglasses off. How about that?
That's the end of that question, I guess.
Yeah, that was kind of the only thing that, to me, it was like, I'm looking you eye to eye, but take off the sunglasses. Then you're looking at the person eye to eye.
I don't know what his bullshit or what is up his ass about CBS. I mean, he seems to be bothered by every network. So it's just like before. You know, when I worked at a couple of ESPN affiliates. That doesn't mean we are controlled by Bristol. We just played some of their programming. That's all about.
Yeah, what? I would love to know what the heck it was. What did CBS say so bad and now he doesn't?
I don't know. I really don't know. But I'm sure it was national. I'm sure it was national, and I don't get it. But he's just so narcissistic now, and I don't know what idiot gave him a vote for an AP for top 25, but that was just stupid. So, like I said, what's he going to say from people in the ESPN or the SEC network? I mean, you can't say anything about this guy constructive criticism wise, and everybody who says is absolutely right. The team sucked. They had a bunch of transfers. They weren't very good. They got a couple early wins. I get it, but then they get destroyed, and they're going to have I don't see them improving on the whole this year either. Then we'll see what happens if he says he's going to stay. It has nothing to do with his son staying at quarterback, and we'll see if he moves on when his son moves on. But it's just crazy. Angel, what else is coming up today?
Not a whole heck of a lot as far as for today, other than obviously constantly moving up shows. They got other ones that I have to get in contact with other folks because of the football season rolling around. A lot of shows that I had on last year on the network. I want to make sure I try to bring them back because I had from Green Bay to Tampa Bay to just about everywhere. LA, trying to bring a lot of the folks back because the NFL season is ramping up. So just a lot of phone calls, a lot of conferences today, and without trying to lose our minds.
Sounds good. All right. I want to thank Bill Burt. Thank everybody across the Coastal Sports Network video platform. I am Pete. I'm back tomorrow at 7 a.m. So tomorrow, we'll have Bill Sparrows on from the Boston Herald and senior betting analyst at bookies.com. We'll have him on. I believe we're going to have Mia O'Brien. She may not know that yet, but got to reach out to her as well. Joe Zagacki, by the way. Joe Zagacki, longtime play-by-play voice for the Miami Hurricanes. He will join me on Thursday. So lots of great guests coming up here on the Pete Shepard Show. Angel Martinez, top notch again. Top notch. Rick says, good day, gentlemen. Again, if you want to go, if you missed any of the show, right, it'll be up on rss.com podcast. It's also going to be available across the video platform. You'll see it on my Twitter page. I have it pinned. I always have it pinned on my Twitter and Facebook pages until the very next morning. So you'll see it then. You have 24 hours, or you can go at any time to rss.com and check it out. Yeah. All right, everybody. I am Pete. I'm back tomorrow at 7 a.m.
And GPG says, great. Wait, before you sign off, Joey B, quickly, take care, guys. Great show. And then Gas Pump Guy also said, great show, guys. Have a great morning.
Thank you, gents. Really appreciate it. Bye.